Hello and welcome to episode 406, I believe, of the DCP Plus SideQuest podcast. Got a lot of both this week. Got a little DC, got a little Destiny, got a lot of SideQuest. Got the Game Awards nominees.
Game Awards nominees.
Can't wait to get angry about that. That's gonna be fun.
I'll bring them up right now.
Thank you for calling it the Game Awards nominees. A lot of people are like the Game of the Year nominees. I'm like, that's everybody. There's a lot of Game of the Years. All right, let's be clear.
There's only one Game of the Year in my heart.
Oh yeah,
it's whatever you like.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Nice.
I played some Stalker. Fran, you've been playing some more Black Myth Wukong.
Yep.
Watts, what
I'm pretty much addicted to trading card games, Pokemon.
Yep, I want to hear Fran's reaction to that one. And I checked out Towers of Agaspa, and I also checked out Supervive yesterday.
Oh, I've never heard of either of those.
Not bad.
What are those?
Because we played Supervive. Like, was it early access or beta or something?
Yeah,
like
it was
ago?
It was alpha. Yeah, so the way that they're doing it, well, we can talk about it when we get on to
it.
Yeah.
Also, Act 2 of Revenant.
Act 2 of Revenant with Prison of Elders. It's not called Prison of Elders. New Prison of Elders. Tomb of Elders.
Tomb. They're
there
was killing the prisoners now. They're just murdering everybody. The Guardians have gone too far. Zavala, step back.
I didn't think about the meaning of the name.
I was lurking in some D2 streams, and there was some chatter about calling it a roguelite, and then it wasn't very roguelite. Do you guys know anything about that?
No. People call it a rogue. Just because the perks? I mean,
no, apparently Bungie said it was going to be roguelite, and then everyone's like, where's the roguelite part?
Bungie said that it's going to be like a roguelike kind of experience, and I guess it's not enough.
But I wonder if verbatim, I'm not, did they say it might have roguelike
I don't
elements?
know.
Because that's different.
I'm asking you if you know. So if none of us knows, maybe we'll leave it.
They did in the live stream mention, and like I don't know. Let's just get into like what it is. Like it's a moot point now because it's out. It is not a roguelite or a roguelike. I can tell you that. But I played it. It's got modifiers. I don't know if we want to start with that or not, but
yeah, start with Destiny stuff. Yeah.
Good. Then let me mark that time code down. Where should we start?
Well, you played it. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
I'm the only one who played it. Let me know what it's about.
So I played. I'm all caught up. Usually, almost always caught up. Played Act 2. So you've got new stuff happening with Fickrul, and like it leads into like why you go back to Tomb of Elders. And as I always say, like I'm not a lore guy, and I'm streaming why I do it. Admittedly, missed a couple things, but
you are our lore guy now, so get used to it.
You're our lore guy, our PvP guy, our raid guy, you're our guy.
Oh God,
you've been promoted. Well done. 0 pay raise, by the way.
Exactly. Look, let's go to the chase, which is after all these years. We wanted Prison of Elders. Well, that didn't come back. It's called Tomb of Elders, but it is inspired by that. That's the big new activity. It was Onslaught Salvation that had launched with Act 1. And like, frankly, the activity offerings in the Revenant episode are solid. You know, everybody likes Onslaught. We got more Onslaught. I mean, I know there's always feedback how to make it better. Then you get Tomb of Elders, and one thing they added because of feedback of, previous stuff like Onslaught's taken forever. The better you do, the faster it can go. So, a lot of good stuff. And in the way I've looked at Tomb of Elders, you're like, well, what is it? To me, it's like a greatest hits, taking the mechanics and boss rooms and mini bosses. And it's just like you go into a themed boss room. So you might be out of the final shape. You might be chasing down those glowing light sticks, and cashing them in, dunking them. I mean, we dunk everything in this game, but tons of enemies in a big boss room, a big boss that you want to take care of. You move on to the next room, and another theme repeats. This time it might be blowing up the generators, and then, it's got Cabal in there, and you take that down. And so it actually, it mixes itself up. It's got modifiers that kind of swipe on the screen in the beginning of those encounters to kind of keep you on your toes. So when you first play it, by the way, as they often do, they give you a little taste of the activity, like the simple version. And then there's like Contest of Elders, I think it's called.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's the big one. And yeah, I mean, we did pretty well, and it still it took a while. But I can say I had a lot of fun. For me, as I've been saying, like if you're enjoying the gameplay loop of Destiny, you're not burnt out by that. You like the builds you're using, and or you want to make some new builds with the artifact. Like the loop is not changing, you know. We still, of course, as part of the act, we go to the last city now, but you make a few new tonics, you know, you talk to the projector, you go down and talk to Aramis in the prison, and you come back up, and then you go and you do Contest of Elders, and you're like, oh, it's kind of like, at least to me, it was like these greatest hits of mechanics and boss rooms, and it mixes it up, and I think it was a lot of fun. But it's not going to be like, whoa, that was so new, you know. It's certainly, you know, I wouldn't expect that until hopefully when Frontiers is out there, we'll see what they do. But it's enjoyable if you're looking for that.
Like everything I
Fun.
saw about it, it looked like a fun activity. I mean, Prison of Elders was, I think, a good foundation, and then they just kind of added on top of it. So, yeah, it seems like a good activity offering for, especially for an episode.
Yeah, and we got news.
Nothing was meant to. I'm trying to remember. Was anything meant to change, like Act 2, like story delivery wise, or it was all just you can still just play it all in one big?
You can
hit,
play it
right?
all
And
in
then
one go for Act 1, then you do
Act
Act 2 all at once,
2.
and Act 3 all at
Right.
once. Yeah.
Right.
You know what? That is a great question and segue, Mount, because one, I forgot we talked about that so much. They did remember. You remember when we had that little like pizza bet, so to speak, a back and forth.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I don't think they're gonna change stuff. It's just gonna. They did seemingly cut out a lot of things to kind of
Right. The fetch quests kind of stuff, so it's not all in
Yeah,
one.
not as well, not as much. It seemed like they just cut out some of it, the back and forth, but you still go, you know, general back and forth. But actually, as you said it, I feel like either it's really somebody help me out in chat. I got the cutscene. I thought I finished it, but it was so swift that I thought I just did a week of the content until you said it. In my mind, I'm thinking, oh, next week, you know, we'll go back. But wait, I guess I did everything. All? If I got the cutscene, did I do all of the Act 2 content?
Well, I think this was a surprise even when Act 1. Everyone's kind of like, whoa, that's pretty slim once you take out all the running backwards and forwards.
But,
it's pretty lean.
But as you said,
not a bad thing, as long as it's got a good story progression.
No, that makes me happy. Yeah, it was
exactly.
Good way to put it. But I'm kind of beside myself. I'm like, wait, it was really smooth, actually. It didn't even occur to me. Honestly, better than Act 1, I would say, just sort of feeling-wise. It didn't occur to me that I was doing a ton of back and forth. There was, like, the usual bits. It's just the structure of it. But honestly, they might have taken out even more now that you say it. It was pretty clean. I didn't feel like I had to go all over the place.
The story, from what I've heard as well, has been pretty solid with Act 2 because you got a couple things. So they had a pretty awesome cutscene. Like that cutscene looked really cool, and it showed Reese, and Reese is like gone. It's like gone. It looks like it's in a real bad shape. If there's any of it remaining, I don't know. I don't know if there's gonna happen because we were wondering if we would go back to Reese in like Frontiers and stuff. But doesn't look, it's looking really bad. And then you also have the part of the story where Mithrax is kind of becoming Nesserak reborn. He's losing it a little bit.
Yeah.
And because he's being taken over by the Nezzy juice. So
the Nezzy fingers.
The Nezzies. Yeah. Yep. So some pretty cool story based stuff happening in Revenant.
Yeah,
right. So Fran, you've been fired. You've been demoted. Watts is now the law person.
Thank you. That's that. I knew the Nezzy fingers got him. Honestly, I'll be straight up. I forgot why is Mithrax? Why is his mind being overtaken again? I forgot. But I know it's happening.
Oh, there's also a thing of so in that cutscene the cutscene looked really cool. You can hear a song playing. And Varix is like, I know this song, but I don't know the singer.
Yeah.
And then, but Aramis
old song of Reese.
Da da da. We need Aramis to save us.
Right. They say, but Aramis might remember.
Yeah.
So your job is to go on Shackler and bargain, make a little bargain.
Oh, she's been on the cards to be like join the Allied team for quite a while now. So
she has. Yeah, she definitely has.
Not really surprised.
But no, I mean, I thought it was a good beat, and having Tomb of Elders alongside it makes it feel like a good update. Like I said, if you're looking for the continuation of the current gameplay loop, and there's a lot of weapons to chase and all that. Oh, actually, I don't know if it was just on Tuesday or if it's all week, but they dropped a bunch of god rolls at the gunsmith. So just go.
Yeah.
If you still
So
can. I grabbed
this
them.
was a part of their
to make
whole
good.
yeah, it was part of the make good for the whole perk situation of RNG. So they've put a bunch of weapons that were basically affected by that, and we're just like, here you go. Sorry about that. Here's the weapons. Here's the god roll. Go buy them.
Yeah,
But
Thank
note
you.
for like the dungeon, you have to complete the dungeon in order to go pick it up. You can't just like go pick it up. You have to actually have completed it.
Wait, to get the chill inhibitor grenade launcher?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize since I had done it before.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as a reminder, they had this RNG gate, as they called it, which of course they found like, look, this is just a bug, and where it's placed on the perk table is something really weird. And hats off to the community for pushing and find it. But yeah, they gave you a bait and switch, Envious Assassin or whatever it is, chill inhibitor for free, and a bunch of other really good stuff. PvP weapons included.
There's a rose in there. Yeah.
Maybe it
That
was
is
a
the roll
slide
that
shot or
everyone
snap.
wanted.
Yeah, I was like,
I think
hey.
it's slide shot. Yeah.
I didn't really have room in the vault, but it like I do in the sense that this stuff is so good. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
easy. I have like old PvP weapons that I save just in case, I do, but I need to go through and just delete a bunch of stuff. That, in other words, I can just have like 2 hand cannons now. I think with that drop, I shouldn't need any more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was good update this week.
Okay.
Remember, you have quite a few days before Act 3, and I believe Bungie had said that there won't be an Act 3 live stream because of the holidays and the New Year, right?
The holidays, yeah. This is their last TWAB of November, so they're gonna be back in December.
That's right. We're a week away from Thanksgiving. I just remembered that.
I know, it's really close.
Yeah.
Hey,
It is a crazy time of the year.
groceries this just now before the.
Yeah, man.
I asked my wife, because my wife does all the shopping, because I'm an awful person, and I said, "Did you get the turkey and everything?" She's like, "I forgot about Thanksgiving." I'm like, how could you forget about Thanksgiving?
You're like, I forget about it. That's gonna happen, but how dare you?
How dare
That's
you?
all right. I'm good. I got some Briar ribs that I'm gonna unthaw, so
Perfect.
I'm set.
Have fun.
Yeah, don't check, Briar. Just don't check. Really.
Yeah, don't count. Everything's fine.
I forgot that Seattle had the bomb cyclone, which I didn't know was a term until it was happening.
That sounds fun. What's going on?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a hurricane. It's on the similar level as like a category 3 or 3 to 4 hurricane. And currently right now, so my power went out on Tuesday. My power was gone for about 5 hours. But right now I have a lot of friends and family who will not get their power back until Saturday. Like, the trees have been crashing the power lines down. People have died. Like, there's just trees falling everywhere. And, that causes a lot of problems. So,
Yep.
Why did they call it a bomb cyclone? Like, what's the difference?
It's something. It's something to do. Yeah, it's something to do with a really specific, like very quick acceleration of the speeds that they're seeing, or the strength of it. It's got like really specific parameters. I read the parameters and I was like, yeah, well, I don't know what the parameters mean, so that's not helpful.
But yeah, we even got down here, so the outer bands of it, all the way down in San Francisco. Watts is way up northwest, up by Bungie up there, right? And then it hit Vancouver, Canada as well, I think. And it's been a lot of rain down here, so I can only imagine up there where it was centered. And yeah, normally, Briar, you've probably been through that. You're on the East Coast, right? That's normally where you hear about a bomb cyclone in the U.S. Or like, actually, I think nor'easters. I think those are bomb cyclones.
Is that a similar thing, a nor'easter?
I think a nor'easter is that, but I don't know.
It's like 70-mile-per-hour winds, and it's all of our power lines are above ground, so.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's goodbye. Exactly. That's it.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah, I think it was coincidence, but I lost my internet, the night of, and I think that was probably coincidence. But
we had a weird one. Now the weather has gotten weird, obviously, like across the country. I mean, we had those awful hurricanes down south. We've had a drought up in the Northeast since August, I want to say. Like no rain since
Oh,
August.
really?
Which
Wow.
is really bizarre for us. It rained for the first time today. We got like an inch of rain, and everybody's like dancing in the streets. Like, thank God our wells are going to have water in them. That's going to be fun
Dancing
to
in
be able to drink and take showers.
David Bowie and Mick Jagger out there.
That's crazy.
Absolutely. You know it. Connecticut's own Mick Jagger and David Bowie.
That was them, right? Oh, God.
But yeah, it's been crazy weather. Hey guys,
Yeah.
I played Stalker 2.
Tell me about it,
Oh,
because
this is
I've
the
heard a
big-
lot of
This is
hubbub,
interesting.
Briar.
What have
I've
you
heard
heard?
hubbub and bubbin'.
Hubbub.
What have you heard?
So I've heard that there's a lot of technical problems. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of plagued with a lot of technical problems. Is
So,
the biggest-
Anomalies.
But they had a day one patch too.
The only review I watched was Skill Up,
Oh yeah.
and he had a lot to say about the technical state of the game.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to say that they did release like a mega patch
Yeah, day one.
on day one, and it seems I have not seen any of the things that Skill Up showed in his video.
Oh, good.
So,
like,
Really?
yeah, he showed like a ton of like just really weird bugs, really bad performance. I'm playing on a less capable computer than he reviewed the game on, and I'm having none of that. And I gotta say, I'm really enjoying this game.
How far are you into it?
I'm about 5 hours in, so I'm
Nice.
not, I'm not way in, but I played basically all day today.
Yeah, how would you describe it as like a shooter, maybe versus whatever the campaign in Space Marines or like Half-Life or like?
I would say it's like Fallout, like Fallout 3, Fallout 4, but you're in Chernobyl and it's less funny, and the gunplay is way more fun.
Yeah,
because you're not
And it's
using the
first
bats.
person.
Yeah, it's first
Yeah.
person, just like Fallout. But
Oh,
it
yeah,
has
Fallout
a
is-
very similar feel to like wandering around the wasteland in a Fallout game, without the charm. Charm is
Like
the
the
wrong word.
quirkiness.
Without
Quirkiness.
the humor, that funny
Yeah.
stuff of like, hey, here's like the
Yeah.
Nuka-Cola and here's the Vault Boy, and
Mm.
like none of that is here. This
Here's
is
what
like,
would happen to a circus that was caught in a
yeah,
nuclear bomb.
yeah.
No.
Stalker 2 is much more like, hey, this is the reality. Everything sucks here, but there's all these places to explore. The gear is really cool. You can collect gear from basically anywhere. Like you find stashes around. Anybody you kill drops a gun and bullets and all that. And then you can take that gear, which all has durability. You can upgrade it to give it better durability. You can put scopes on it. You can upgrade the barrel. You really could go crazy with the guns, which is really quite fun because you can then feel that quite a bit while you're firing the gun, because it does
That's
that
good.
like, quote unquote realistic weapon physics kind of model, which is so satisfying. I did this one mission where this guy had stolen money from a bartender, and I was going out. The bartender's like, hey, don't kill this guy. I like this kid. He's a nice kid. He just fucked up, so like, don't kill him. Maybe just rough him up a little bit or something, but get my money back,
yeah.
though,
Yeah.
So I go out there, and it turns out he also stole money from this gang who is there basically trying to kill him. So the gang's like, well, you go talk to him, and if you can get the money, we'll split it. But like, I'm kind of like, I think the gang's just going to kill me and this dude. So this kid who's like locked up in this room, he says, well, there's a stash up on the top of that water tower. If you get that, you'll know what to do with it. So I get up there, and of course it's a sniper rifle. So
Yeah,
I just aim down at the gang and pick them all off, take all their loot,
Yeah,
split the
sounds
reward
great.
with the bartender, and I'm on to the next quest. Like that's very much the tone of the whole thing too. Is like you very rarely have a choice where you feel like you're making the good decision, right?
Right. Yeah. I like that.
It's one of those where it's like, I met this guy. He seems a little shady, but these other shady guys are coming, and like, whose team do I want to get on board with? Like, am I just trying to get the best reward out of here? Am I trying to role play this? Like, I'm trying to be a good person, because you're not a good person. You're a stalker. You're in Chernobyl trying to loot this place, and it's filled with all these like kind of, what I would say like magical anomalies which you can avoid, or you can try and disarm, and later on you can try to actually like capture and collect. I don't know. It's a very cool game. It's running smooth. I've got it on Epic with DLSS running to help with the frame rate a little bit. And I'm really not having all the technical issues that I saw in the early reviews. And I'm really enjoying the game. If you're into this type of game, and
What
I feel like
difficulty
people who are know it, you know what I mean? Like if you like Fallout,
Yeah.
you're probably gonna like this.
What difficulty are you running on, bro?
Just the normal default.
No,
difficulty.
is it like pretty challenging on normal or?
Yeah, I think it's pretty challenging. It's not like Dark Souls boss level challenging, but like there's these one kind of mutants that like kind of disappear, reappear, and then smack you, and they hit you on your ass, and then which you then can't do any actions like reload your gun or heal yourself. And the first time I ran across one of those, I had a little bit of difficulty until I kind of figured out, I can shoot this guy while he's invisible. I didn't have to wait for him to reappear and wind up and hit me. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm only 6 hours deep, so I don't have all the best stuff yet. I probably haven't reached like the hardest areas yet. I've kind of stayed away from, these like huge like compounds, like clearly.
Yeah, when I was watching Goth play, I think he
Yeah.
went into one of those and he was just stuck. Like he could not get out. It took him a very long time to find a way to get out.
Yeah, so I've been, I've played
Oh,
Fallout
now you
before.
make
I
me
know to
wanna
stay
play
away
it
from that
'cause,
kind of. It's good.
Now, well, here, let me. How are you finding the encumbrance system and the lack of inventory?
So I've had no
I
problem
feel
with
like
it.
Myelin doesn't like that.
I've had no problem with it. That was another like
I do
big
dislike
problem
that. Okay.
that Skill Up showed. I don't know if they increased the like how much you can carry, but I'm carrying like 5, 6, 7 guns at a time that that I'm just gonna sell off to vendors when I get back to town. They have
That's
varying levels of health, not health, but like they're broken. Like some of them are broken, so those are going to be cheaper to sell. So if I do get a little over encumbered, then I'll just like toss like the broken guns that are going to sell for less, or that I would have to repair before I could even sell them, which is probably not
that's
worth
really
my money.
interesting. Because in the skill up review, he was saying that he really wanted to try all of these different weapons, but he'd pick up like one weapon and he'd be like damn near encumbered. And there was like a mission that he did where he had to pick up this thing and it made him encumbered.
Yeah,
and he had to walk, across the. So maybe they did increase it. I wonder.
Based on the
Maybe.
gameplay I've had so far compared to the reviews, I don't feel like they should have let early reviews go out on this game. They should have waited for this day one patch.
For the patch, yeah.
Yeah.
It put me off. It honestly put me off. I was ready to play it, and I was like, just looking at the footage and hearing, I was like, these are all things that really grind my gears that I don't want to interact with until they're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just dig into that note about the early reviews going out, and then you have this like, the press, got access early, but then they do this big day one patch, and I usually listen to the kind of funny folks who are good friends of mine. We used to work together at IGN, and yeah, they had this exact discussion today on their new show, and they're like, it literally was to the point they were like, well, should we have even reviewed it? What do you do? And they didn't know. They didn't know. This happens all the time in gaming. But then they were like, so what do you do? Do you like, try to get back there as fast as possible and update your review? And they're like, we don't even do reviews that way. Kind of funny as an example is conversational. It's a little like tuning into a live stream. And so the short of it is, be mindful that if you're out there reading reviews, make sure they've got the latest patch. Otherwise, I just probably be mindful of what you're reading, but then otherwise it's like go watch folks on Twitch and people who have these updated
live streams
takes.
of it for sure, because then you'll get like an up to date of how it's feeling, and I'm like really rooting for this game because obviously these devs are from Ukraine. They've dealt with a lot of terrible things putting this game together, so I really am rooting for this game to be amazing. And people who love Stalker the one, they've been waiting for like 15 years to have a follow up to this, so.
Yeah.
I'm really happy to hear that you're having a good time with it.
Yeah. I mean, it really is like night and day compared to the footage that I saw in the review compared to like the game I'm playing. Like they shouldn't have done early reviews on this, or they shouldn't have sent out that code. They should have waited till they had the fixed code.
Yeah.
Also, it's on Game
Yeah.
Pass, so give
Yes,
it a
that's where I'm
try
playing it.
because it's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
There
Oh,
you
it's
go.
on Game Pass. Oh,
Yeah.
It's on
okay.
Game Pass.
Yeah. Game
I will
Pass.
try then.
It's funny because I was gonna just buy the game, and I was kind of like looking like I wanted to buy this. I want to buy the new Metal Slug Tactics game.
Yeah.
And there was one more game that is escaping me right now. And I was just like,
Balatro?
do I want to go to Best Buy and like pick these up for PS5? Like, what do I want to do? And I'm like, I wonder if Game Pass has any of these. I haven't had a Game Pass subscription in probably
Yes.
2 years at this point.
All of them.
Had all of them. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna get Game Pass. Plus, they got Indiana Jones and the Ring of Death coming up.
That's
Red
coming
Ring of
out.
Death.
Yeah, that's coming up.
So, which I'm really looking
great
forward to.
Circle. of
So I
death.
signed up for Game Pass to play this. That could be an issue too. Is like sometimes in the past, like depending on where you get the game can have different versions. I've seen that happen. So maybe the Game Pass was running better than another version. I don't know.
I think it was mostly this problems with the first patch, and they even had a big note to the community saying like, look, this is just day one, and we will continue to work on this. This they said it was a love letter to Ukraine, and we've been working on this for so long, and so expect there's good. I think it has a history of being that type of
Stalker
game.
1 had some problems.
Yeah,
So they were fixing that for a while too.
It's been 15 years and a trial of development. And so, you may want to wait, but it sounds like the first patch has solved a lot of stuff. But I would also note that I filtered Steam by like over 7 hours, and that's about 1,500 to 1,600 reviews, and about 85% of those are positive. So
that's good.
Of people who've spent 7 to 10
That's
hours.
probably a good sign because, like, Steam reviews, if your game isn't running well, you will know it very quickly in the Steam reviews.
They'll eviscerate you. So,
yeah.
I'm looking forward
It's a
to
hard one
That's
because, like,
fantastic.
I saw the reviews and then I also watched some Twitch streams, and it's like, I'm assuming it's quite a slow pace. Like, there's a lot of walking from place to place, and like
definitely
big survival
describing it
aspects
as
to it.
the PvE Tarkov, like Incurable did. I think that's like a pretty good, like if you've played Tarkov, is kind of that experience. You're managing your inventory as a huge space that you're trekking through, and they're really going for, like, they don't want you to feel like you're at a theme park trekking around. They want you to feel like gruesome and gritty and difficult about going in the world. It's kind of the whole thing of the game.
World, a dark future that you're living in.
Yeah.
I will say though that it does a good job of around every corner there's something to check out. Like it does.
That's great.
Okay.
When I'm walking through the wasteland or through the shadows of Chernobyl or whatever they're calling it here, is like I'm constantly like, ooh, what's in here? Ooh, like here's this water tower, here's this radio tower,
Nice.
here's this tunnel system,
great.
and like, oh, there's this like crazy ass dude in this tunnel system who keeps yelling at me. He wants to steal my pants. Like, okay, let's kill this guy, or maybe give him my pants. I don't know.
Give me your pants. You never know what's gonna
Give me
happen.
pants.
I'd give him my pants.
Okay.
Just to see what happens.
I ran across.
You've convinced me. You've convinced me to download it.
Give it a try.
I ran
Yeah,
across this dude who, like, he seems to be possessed by some kind of creature. And, like, I don't know, like, is he a good guy or a bad guy? I don't really know. He's doing good things, but he seems to be a little weird. I don't know. It's interesting. So far, it's interesting. Again, I'm only like 5 or 6 hours in.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the fact that there has RPG elements. I think a lot of people aren't prepared for it because they just see a shooter and it's a gritty shooter. And like, if you're not familiar with like Stalker, you may not be walking into it thinking that it is so much about, I think, the experience and that, they want you to make some hard decisions with carrying loot around stuff. So, the Starfield of these shooters.
Yeah,
maybe.
it's like Starfield except for fun.
We can say that because
But-
TV's not here this week.
I'm really looking forward to it because I like when you can immerse yourself and feel that RPG nature, but have that be like a very smooth and say wondrous experience, and you saying you're seeing oh man, I had to go here and I could see myself getting lost in that. So I'm looking forward to it.
Also, it looks awesome. Like, it looks really good. I got it
did
cranked
look
up to
very good.
epic. Like, the textures are beautiful. The forest is beautiful. Like, it's beautiful in a very like, hey, this place sucks kind of way, but it's really a cool looking game.
Yeah, that's interesting because when you just like tune into a Twitch stream, and even if you watch like 20 minutes, it's really hard to pick up the vibe because just like the color palette, and if you get, you tune in, they're just kind of like walking from place to place. Maybe they'll see like a couple enemies or this, that, and you're like, oh, I don't know. Like, is this suspenseful? Is this like, are they struggling to get like from point A to point B? And they're down to the last bullet. Like, it's really hard to pick up on some of like contextual things that make these games great. It's like watching Tarkov. Like, if you don't play Tarkov, you don't realize how stressful things can be. And you watch a stream, you're like, it just kind of looks like dog shit gunplay. But then when you add all the context behind it, and you're like, oh my God, they're holding a 1.3 million ruble item. They got to try and get out and their legs busted, then you kind of understand a bit more. So it's been cool hearing your thoughts, because I was definitely leaning away from it between kind of watching streams and
the review
and reviews. Yeah.
I just decided,
Yeah.
it's on Gamecast. I've been looking forward to this game for years, and
Good.
I'm gonna check it out, and I'm glad I did.
It's one of those games where I think you know if you're gonna dig it or not. I think.
Yes, totally. Yeah,
Because that's how I feel about Slitterhead. I'm like, it sounds stupid. It's like, if you like the look of it, you like it, and if you don't like it, then you don't like it. Like, it really is one of those games where it's if you like the whole vibe, you like everything that they're doing, then you probably will have a good time. But if you don't, I don't think you can like trick yourself into enjoying it.
yeah.
Well, I'm definitely going to try and trick myself into enjoying it.
Yeah.
Well, just give it a try.
Well, because here's the thing, like, so I didn't never really got into Fallout, but I loved like Escape from Tarkov. So I like those like gun shooting parts of games, but I'm really picky when it comes to open world games. Like, only some open world games I kind of like. So we'll see if it
I'll be very curious to see what you think.
captures me. Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the Game Awards?
Oh,
Yes.
tell
Next
me
topic.
more.
Okay.
The nominees.
All right. So I'm going to start with
Nominees.
the
The
drama
nominees.
Yes.
of the Game Awards. So so this came out on Monday where the official nominees were out. Before
Fuck
then,
Mondays.
before
I hate
then,
Mondays too. Is that the drama?
no, that's not the drama.
Oh,
Before the nominees came out, they updated their FAQ that asked, can a DLC expansion, remake, or remaster be up for Game of the Year? And they
spoilers.
said all of these things can be up for everything. And people were like, come on.
Excuse me?
Wait, why would you be doing that? Because obviously we've had, like, last year there was Phantom Liberty, update to Cyberpunk, which people really loved. Before that you've had Iceborne from Monster Hunter. You've had so many incredible
DLCs.
expansions that really do go head to head with those brand new games for being the best of that year. They were like, why are we doing it this year? Well, here are the nominees for Game of the Year.
Yes.
World
Astrobot.
premiere.
Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth,
We skipped
Metaphor
one.
ReFantazio, and Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree.
I would like to note this is voted on by, like, this isn't like fucking John Game Award just making his own list, right? This is voted
Jeff
on
Keighley.
by
He doesn't vote at all. Yeah.
yeah, this is voted on by, what is it, like 1,000 people? Like, they've released that number before, haven't they?
Yeah.
They
it's,
have, yeah.
They did. Let's just say it's 100 outlets or something, but it's a lot of people across
Yeah.
a bunch of outlets.
But yeah, Elden Ring, Shadow of the
100
Erdtree.
global media and influencer outlets. That's who did.
Is Shadow of the Erdtree, in your opinion, a valid Game of the Year?
So here's the thing, right? There's kind of like two schools of thought on this. The one school of thought that's happy that, anything can be in Game of the Year is like, if a DLC comes out and it is better than or can go head to head with all of those other full-length games, then it deserves to be nominated for stuff. The other side of it is, well, but then you're going to have games releasing The Last of Us 1, The Last of Us Remake 1, The Last of Us 1 Remake Part 2, Part 5, Part 9, and they can keep
that was my favorite
winning
one.
Game of the Year. They can
Yeah.
keep winning over and over and over. It incentivizes the industry to stay the
But
same
they
or just
won't-
keep adding on.
They probably won't, because this is voted on by, like, people who play games, right? So they're not, like, theoretically, they're not going to do that.
Not going to do what?
Like vote for Last of Us Remake Part 9.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, I mean, you need
wouldn't
that
this all
critical
be
mass of it is that good, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wouldn't this all be solved if just a category for DLCs?
There
Yeah,
is.
best
Yeah.
expansion of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there has been one of those in the past,
There's
right?
not, no. There's
Oh, there's
best
not one this
continuing
year.
game or like all of that stuff, but that's more specifically for live
I-
service games that are continuously updated. They don't have like a single player expansion category.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Uh,
as someone who's been in these, in IGN at least, I've been in countless arguments where people storm out of the room over criteria for the game of the year, right? And so I just would remind that the reality is it is hard to be like, you know, how do you set criteria? And what I'm seeing when I see this is that it is more of the like, you know what? If you guys all, because everyone has to vote for it to be on as a game of the year. So it has to have that critical mass. They're just like, you know what? Just go for it. That's what I'm seeing. And it's a little less of meaning this nuance of criteria. And let's just take one example. You know, you can't just buy Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, right? You have to buy
Right.
Elden Ring.
correct. Yeah.
And
You even
like
have to
what
beat Moog, which is, you know.
you know,
pretty
yeah,
deep.
you have to even play Elden Ring to play this, don't you?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You can't just like hop, skip forward like Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty let you do that, even though you have to buy both products. And so I'm not voting for it one way or another. I'm just pointing out this is where it gets tricky. It's like, wait, how are you going to put that up against Balatro and Astrobot or whatever, you know? And they've had all these years. And so some people look at that and they're like, well, that's kind of unfair, you know? And then, yeah, now Elden Ring, which of course is incredible, is just going to take a spot away from, say, maybe it was Animal Well or whatever. And so I think you get a lot of mixed reception. As someone who's waiting eagerly to actually play the DLC for Shadow of the Erdtree, I can't comment on like should it be where it is, but I do think the lack of like really detailed criteria, it just is what the Game Awards is. And I'm hoping with other outlets, I'm curious to see that. IGN, GameSpot, you know, Verge, Video Game Chronicles, Kotaku, whoever. How do they handle this? I don't know if their nominees are out yet, but I'd look around and see if they feel as loosey-goosey about it, so to speak.
Definitely looking at it like the game awards is like, here's just cool stuff that came out this year. Is it cool enough to be nominated for cool stuff? Then it's nominated. Freaking there you go.
Yeah, I think the point I would just want to end on there is I completely understand that a lot of people watch these awards and they're like, this is my favorite game of the year. And I am obviously an old curmudgeon and review stuff and blah, blah. And to me, that's not what game of the year is. You really should take all the factors in. It's like Consumer Reports. Like I'm looking at ovens right now. What is the best oven, you know, gas oven to get? Like, there's all this criteria, pros and cons. And like that is a very different approach than just somebody who's like, this is my favorite. I love it. And you're like, why? I just love it. You know,
It's
and
got
it's
the
like,
coolest knobs, man. They're like big and chunky. They feel great to turn.
Yeah, and you're not wrong.
Yeah.
But like, you know, there's a lot of other maybe factors that go into this. And that's why even looking at this list, it's like, you know, it's a lot of like RPG driven stuff. And then you got like one platformer and then I guess like an indie, I don't know how you describe Balatro, but card
It's a
game.
roguelike card game.
Yeah.
Roguelike poker game.
But it's filled with tons of these huge RPGs and like if they're game of the year, they're game of the year. But you know, maybe the last note as well as you talked about having other categories. Well, that shouldn't exclude you from being a potential game of the year. That's up to the criterion. When I look at it, it's like they're like, whatever. Just go for it. If you guys voted up, you upvoted it, and here it is.
Yeah, I got two things to say on this. One is I think that if a DLC is so strong and so supported by the voters that it gets into this list, then I think it deserves to be there. Like,
yeah,
honestly, like, because you know that everybody who voted for this is having that internal debate in their head too. Like, can I put this here? Like, it's a DLC, and the fact that it's on the list, like, kind of, it earns its spot just by that. But also, God, Jeff Game Award has to be like just reveling in the fact that like there's this debate over like the game of the year, right? Because it's not even like this is just bringing more eyeballs to the show when it comes on.
There always is. I mean, that's what it is now. You know, it is it's a water cooler type of event for everybody, and I think that was maybe part of the decision making here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like when people think of game of the year, they really, well, for me, in my head, I say it's new game of the year. Like that's like what I
Yeah.
think of the category is. It's like
Sure.
games that freshly came out this year that, so
So,
I
question,
don't,
Myelin, with your
yeah.
thought being that, so last year we had Resident Evil 4 remake, and we've had like Resident Evil 2
Yeah.
remake, and
I don't think
Rebirth.
remake should be in
Rebirth
there
is a
either.
remake, but it's a little bit different. But then, yeah, that's what I was wondering is, do you then go, okay, it's got to be like a new game, not a
New
remake, not a
game.
remaster,
I
not a
reckon,
DLC?
I reckon
Yeah.
make a category for DLCs and remakes, and they can go on to win in those categories, but not like the new game.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a completely different game than Final Fantasy VII.
I mean,
Shares
that's more than a remake.
like
Remakes are
shares
hard.
things.
Remakes are, I think, a harder conversation than DLCs, to be honest.
I'm laughing because this is where people started to walk out of the room.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah,
Fuck
I think
you guys.
because okay, wait, remake or remaster? Because remasters,
Remaster's different. Yeah,
remaster's different.
Remaster's just making it look prettier, right?
yeah.
Yes,
Remake
Like
is
the Legacy of
graphics
Kain
and
Soul
maybe-
Reaver thing that they're doing. Is
Yeah,
that next
that's-
month. Like that's a remaster, right? It's like, oh, we've
Yeah.
upgraded. Like we got some new textures on some of the bosses, and everything's output at 1080p now.
I think if a remake is substantially different from the original, then that can count, right?
Yeah.
Because you're technically just borrowing the IP to make something new.
Yeah,
But a
I mean,
remaster
is it Balatro
is
just a remake of poker?
yeah.
Wow, that probably takes some offense to that.
Yeah, people are getting angry now. You want to fight? I'll
Yeah, I
fucking
mean-
fight all of you.
This is really interesting as a real world example. So 2023, I believe, I was pulling up the list and I was like, yeah, Resident Evil 4 Remake was one of the Game of the Year nominees.
Yep.
And at the time, I don't think this criteria was this allowance of
not,
Game of the Year
no.
to be DLC. And interestingly, and maybe because I haven't thought about this, so I can be a hypocrite here, like Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty with the 2.0 upgrades, they added all these improvements and content and as one package, I was like, this is incredible. Now, it wouldn't have beat Baldur's Gate 3, but it should have been nominated, I refer to it often as Game of a Generation, you may remember. And so, again, I don't know what the criteria should be and if that makes sense here. I think it's really interesting to look at, though, that like Resident Evil 4 Remake could make it, but Cyberpunk 2.0 plus Phantom Liberty wouldn't stand, in 2023.
That is
And
bullshit,
that's why
Fran, you're right.
and that's why they're changing it. Again, it's different. That's where you get into the nuance. Like Phantom Liberty, you did have to buy both, but you didn't have to play the first one. You could just play Phantom Liberty as well. And but then I didn't even get to ask Watts about Elden Ring because I still got to play it. Like, does it weave through like Elden Ring, or is it all in a self-contained zone once you get there without spoiling
It's a separate zone.
Yeah, it's a self.
Okay, so you can play all in there and all the enemies, but you don't get pushed back out into the other side of the world.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah. So other than having to buy it, maybe that's more information on why it is there, right? But you
the
have to play
interesting
the
thing
first
though, you wouldn't consider something like a Destiny 2 expansion or a World of Warcraft expansion, which is technically DLC, being nominated, right? You'd be like, nah, they got to stay in the ongoing category.
Well, do you mean
What do you
Final
think?
Shape? Because I think that would have that I don't think they look at that as that's an interesting question about Destiny.
It's an expansion,
assumed-
Final Shape, all new area, all new content. I mean, I don't see any difference between Final Shape and Erdtree.
Yeah, no, meaning it was eligible. I was wondering, was it
Yeah.
always eligible in the past? I'm sure those were. And that was a nuance.
Probably
as
not
well.
Game of the Year.
No, not for Game of
No.
the Year.
Yeah,
No,
it
this
see,
was
sounds
like
like
a
they
new.
changed the
This
rules
was a
this
New
year,
Year thing,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they changed
I
the
think
rules for
the
this
interesting
year.
question is, have they responded to why they made the change? Because I'm interested to hear
No, I don't think so.
the reason for the change, apart from getting Erdtree into the nominations. But like, they obviously think that DLC can be nominated as an standalone game of the year.
Do you guys
You
know,
know what
is this a write-in ballot, or is this like you get a list of 10 potential nominees and you pick your favorite?
No, I think the nominees are driven by a huge spreadsheet. I'd have to double check. But I think
So, like,
it's-
how many times did this game come up in
Yeah.
So,
these outlets nominees?
but the
Based on
voters
the
are writing
criteria.
in their nominees. Like they're not.
I believe so.
They're not picking from a pre-selected like list of 15 games.
I don't think so.
So
No,
then,
because those
I don't
have
think so.
in that example, the voters had to write in Elden Ring enough for this conversation to even be had.
Yeah.
And I think that on its own, like they didn't do that last year for Phantom Liberty, and they didn't do that for
They couldn't.
Final Shape.
Well, yeah, they couldn't.
Well,
they couldn't, or
'cause
did they?
That's what I'm getting. The criteria in the past, before you write in something, you do get some criteria. You know,
When did they change
I've
the
never
criteria? When did they change that?
this year.
Yeah, but when? When this year?
Well, publicly, I
Like,
think
was it,
people
like,
only knew
last week?
before
We
the
only knew
nominations
like
went
a
up.
week before the nominees came up.
So
And
when-
it could have
knew.
been changed.
That's when we know publicly.
did they change?
Yeah,
that-
when people-
that's my question, I guess. Is did they change
We
it
don't know.
because they got an overwhelming response of like Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree is being nominated over and over and over again?
We don't
It's
know.
yeah.
I'm
I'd
sure
like
folks
to know
have
that.
talked about. We should. Yeah, like I can ask
think-
some folks.
I think this is more of a, it's the they just wanted Erdtree, Elden Ring in there. I think it's more of a thing with the changing industry because we've gotten like the Witcher expansion, which could have been in there. Like we said before, the Monster Hunter one, the Cyberpunk. There's been so many good additions to pre-existing games that maybe they've seen this happen over and over and over again, and they're like, you know what? If a game is good enough to go up against these other games and they're cheaper, they're $40 compared to like $60-70 and they can go
Yeah,
up
price-
against these like full games, then friggin' screw it, let them be in there.
Yeah, criteria again. It's like how long is the game? How much is it? None of that matters. It literally is like there's some basic. Was it a new game in this calendar year before November 22nd? Then the cutoff. There's a couple things. But this is what they added, by the way, Briar, to answer your question. They revealed it and said the Game Awards, are DLCs, expansion packs, and remakes and remasters eligible? So they answered that by saying the Game Awards aims to recognize the best creative and technical works each year, irrespective of the format of that content's release. Expansion packs, new game seasons, DLCs, remakes, and remasters are all eligible in all categories if the jury deems the new creative and technical work to be worthy of a nomination. So factors such as newness of the content and its price value should be taken into consideration. Okay, I didn't see that last part. That's news
That's
to me,
fair.
but interesting.
I think that's fair.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think that whole setup is fair. It doesn't bother me. Like, look, if the voters think that this should be, in the competition, then that's where it should be. Especially, there is no DLC of the year category, and it doesn't really ongoing game doesn't really describe DLC properly.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I think it is a look at where the industry has moved to and will continue to move to. And I don't think we're going to see like remasters and every remaster and remake and DLC being added. It does seem like it has to be quite phenomenal to make it into these.
Yeah.
So the more that I learn about it, the more I think, okay, I get with it. Or at least I understand why they're like, look, if we get 100 people saying that this is what they want, then we're just going to put it
Maybe
in
we
there.
should change the rules to accommodate that.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that usually is a big part of it. It's like it's very hard to wrangle the cat, so to speak.
can
Because this is exactly what happens
But-
every year. It's like exactly what my mom was saying. Well, not a remaster though, right? And someone's like, why not? And you're like, well, remakes are, and you're like, why is that a remake? And this is a remake, and people are pulling their hair out for weeks and weeks. And actually, what I've observed, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's happened, is there are staunch, resistance, and eventually. You just get so worn down. Yeah, people start walking out. It's like I don't care what you guys do. Like, just do it. Let me know. I'll put my votes in by the deadline. That's normally what happens. So I'm not saying it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's
What's an interesting way to think about this is like, what is the whole point of having a game of the year? Because I think that almost like solves the problem. Like, if the function of having game of the year is to go, hey, these are gaming experiences that everyone should try, and to highlight that, then yeah, it should include DLC, should include expansions, remasters, because like that's what you're highlighting, right? Like Shadow of the Erd Tree was so good, you want the world to know that this should be on your radar to play if you haven't.
Yeah.
If the function is these are the best new games this year that you might have missed, well then that that solves it,
That's
right? Then it's like,
different, yeah.
well, it's different. So
Yeah.
I think this just shows that like Game of the Year is about these are the best gaming experiences regardless of format that people should know about, and that's what they've decided the rules are.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense when you say it, but there's arguments against it. One would be that the idea of broadening dilutes the potential of a lot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, sure, everybody voted for everything, but now I've got like 20 votes sitting out here for Fortnite's new season because they're hardcore Fortnite fans. And I'll raise another issue,
Yeah,
which
yep.
has never been criteria. Really, it's like sort of a handshake, pinky swear, but like you have to play all these games at depth. And just look at the list: Metaphor, Final Fantasy VII, Elden Ring, plus Shadow of the Erdtree, Black Myth, Wukong. Astrobot was short, and Balatro, I assume, is shorter. But that doesn't even include the ones that didn't make it. How many people do you are truly eligible to vote? It gets very difficult to be like the true expert on the game of the year because of that as well. You know, and so
how many hours does this list represent? To like honestly, like,
yeah.
let's just say finish each game.
Oh, I mean, let's see. Watts, how long's Metaphor, you think?
80 hours on the low end.
Okay.
Final
Fantasy's
Fantasy
probably
7 is around there too, right?
60, 70?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
Elden
You're up to
Ring is
100.
what?
Wukong's
40
pretty
to-
long too.
40 to
40, 40-ish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
80. Yeah, I mean,
I guess. Look, I'm just reading Twitch chat a bit, and I
300,
guess my
about
point is
350
kind
hours
of
already.
my point's kind of in there. It's like, what's the spirit of the Game Awards? Is it the spirit is like
The
Yeah.
these are
spirit
things that
is
should
we
be
got to get
on
70
your
million
radar, and you
people
should
to watch these ads.
ads. Yeah,
No.
okay.
I will happily, because I'm there for the trailers, baby.
Yeah.
There's a reason none of us are watching the Golden Joysticks, but we're watching the Game Awards.
Yeah.
So,
Here's-
here's a good question for you, right? Obviously, like I actually didn't like Shadow of the Erdtree for lots of, I think, valid reasons. Some people don't think they're valid, but I didn't like it.
uninstalled it, right?
Yeah, maybe.
That's for my
it was too hard. It was actually too hard for me. Watts, you obviously really liked it, but
Mhm.
are you going to vote for it, or like where do you
I already
sit?
did.
Like, you already voted for it.
Yeah, so
Okay.
my thing was when I've been thinking about this year, there's been like a lot of games that I like, but there's not really been anything that I loved. And when I was playing Shadow of the Erdtree, I was like, this is some of the happiest I think I've been in my life. And then below that was Stellar Blade, which isn't even really being mentioned by anyone. Maybe because, I don't know, the discourse made people think it was just a Gooner game, and no one thought it was actually a good game. It's actually an incredible game.
It was a good game.
Incredible.
I want to play it now.
So I was looking at this and I'm like, I'd be very happy if Metaphor wins. I'd be very happy with, honestly, most of them winning. But I was like, you know what? I kind of went into the Game Awards after seeing this where I was like, I think I'm just going to do, it's a celebration of the games that we played. It's, we're talking about all of the games we played over the last year and discussing how we felt about them. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to vote on what I liked the most. So I went and voted for Shadow of the Erdtree.
And honestly, it is a great way to sum it up, Myelin and Watson. Like they're just like, what did you have the most fun with? Let's make this easier. And I think you nailed the important point here too. And I've heard it from a lot of other folks too. We need more categories. If it's so fun and we're not going to like get into the weeds because it's a huge spectacle that's just meant to kind of celebrate the industry and have fun and watch some new advertisements as well as brand new big announcements and Kojima's 20-minute Death Stranding 2 trailer, then let's come together and do that. But we're missing categories. Why don't we have best expansion and DLC? Why don't we have
Yeah, it is a weird
best-
omission. I can't believe they don't have.
I would
best
prefer
expansion.
that they do that they have
Best
best,
early
you don't
access.
even need to have it every year, right? If there's enough for that year, then you can have it be a bit of category. Plenty of award shows change their categories every year.
Yeah.
And if it's good enough, like Erdtree, then it can go in the Game of the Year as well, right? So if you've got like enough of them, then they can go into their own category. But if there's like a real standout one, then they can sit in Game of the Year as well.
Yeah. So I think that would help with it, right? Is to first, this is the first step. Maybe that's not, maybe that won't be such a surprise next year when we hear they've added all these categories to just kind of make it a little more fun and interesting.
Guys, got any
Yeah, I mean,
predictions?
like
What do you
I'm
think is
gonna vote.
So just to clarify for the Game Awards, it is 90% like judge vote and 10% public vote. So when you're thinking about that, you need to think about it in that way. Because if you're just picking most popular, I think like, that's easier. But if you're thinking about what the critics choose and then what the
Jeez, I don't know
public
what I would
is
pick
choosing,
most popular either.
You
Maybe
know what's
Black
funny?
Myth?
You just.
Oh.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
maybe Wukong, yeah.
I'm actually only laughing because I just realized that 10% of the vote is on the nominees, but the nominees are only driven by, I believe, the critics. Then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can't nominate. You're not part of the
No, it's
nominate, but you're part of the
player
vote,
choice will
which
be,
is
but
fine. But yeah,
but yeah,
meaning
no.
you didn't
Yep.
get to do 10% towards the
I'm
nomination. of
writing
stuff
in the
too.
Castlevania DLC for Vampire Saviors.
All right.
You could. I'm thinking probably
So-
maybe.
So what
Yeah,
will
so I
win?
guess
Game of the
look,
Year?
here's a couple of different questions. Who do we think will win, and who do we think
Yeah.
should win the popular vote? And then, is there another option there?
Player's voice, you
Start with
mean?
those two.
Player's voice, but I really think it's gonna be Black Myth for players.
I think so too.
It won the golden joysticks.
Did it?
Yeah. It
I
won the
think it'll
golden
be-
joysticks game of the year, and that's like pure fan vote.
I'm a little more torn
Oh, that's
on like
why, okay. I
critics
was like-
because the critical choice, Balatro got a lot of talk by a lot of critics. Like that was, I mean, it was a lot earlier in the year, but like people were really digging that game. Astrobot got really high praise. Metaphor is getting good praise.
Metaphor deserves it
Yeah.
so much.
I think all the
I-
games on this list deserve
they-
to be here, except
yeah.
for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
What? You got an axe to grind with Final Fantasy?
Little bit.
VII? Really? I think I remember you bringing that up on the show. Yeah.
A little bit. You know what? You know what upsets
I-
me? Oh, sorry. No, we're not done. I can save my anger. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so I think Black Myth is probably up there with popular. Who do I think
Yeah.
will win though? I'm
Man,
gonna
I
vote for
think-
Astrobot. I'm gonna vote for Astrobot
Mm.
for the same reasons Watts voted for Elden Ring. I'm gonna vote for Astrobot because of the feeling it gave me, and I was like,
Yeah.
I feel like a kid playing Spyro the Dragon again with not a care in the world. I don't have a battle pass to grind. I got no content to make on it. It's just me platforming, and that was a really good, wholesome experience. And that's probably I probably paid the least of it as well, but that was also kind of nice. Didn't feel like a second job. It was just a good
Yeah.
gaming experience, and pretty clever.
Fran?
I
Yeah.
honestly don't know what would win though. What would actually win? It's probably between Erdtree and Wukong. I would have thought.
I don't really.
I
Don't
think
know
for
why I'm Wukong, but-
critics, man, I mean, it really could go anywhere because Rebirth
Ah.
did so much. Metaphor, I don't know how critics feel about Metaphor, to be honest.
Neither do I.
I think they're
Metaf-
pretty positive on it.
I hope
Yeah, I
so
think so,
because
too.
it's
That
incredible.
JRPG vibe runs deep in.
Yeah.
I feel like the community there.
I think Rebirth did not hit with critics as hard as Remake did. And I don't think Black Myth hit as hard with critics as it did with the pop.
Wow.
yeah, I think I might
Fran,
have a chance to. Well,
Talk about Wukong.
maybe before we go to Wukong is I hate saying what I think will win when I was getting at. I'm unqualified given I have not played
Yeah.
DLC for Elden Ring and Final Fantasy and Metaphor or Balatro. So putting that aside, yeah, I've been very pro Astrobot, and I think if you look at the list though, and I'm hoping that the panel sees it this way, and even the 10% of fans, like if you play at all these and really thought about it, man, Astrobot is just pure joy, tightly edited and extremely polished. It does not
Yeah.
miss. And I think that
Yeah.
for me was why I was like, I just remember saying, like, I think Astrobot could sweep, Game of the Years because it's not just a vibrant platformer. And this one I did play, and yeah, sure, it's like 11 hours. Like all of this was so enjoyable. It came out with speedrun levels after. So I hope they look at it in like that's what Game of the Year should represent too, is like, it's not that all these games aren't great. It's that why does this one stand out this year? And I think there's not a lot of platformers out there that are this exceptional, period. It truly is surprisingly well done. So I am
Yeah.
hopeful that takes it versus all these other ones are great, but everything's just edgy, dark JRPG or art. Well, not JRPG. That one's some fun for Metaphor, but that or Balatro, something we'll mix things up.
Mm-hmm.
But should we talk about
Nice.
Wukong a little bit?
Yeah,
Yeah,
go on.
let's
Tell us
do
your
it.
thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm I don't know, Watts saw where I'm at, but maybe 80% done or something like that. So I think I already talked about it on the show, and honestly, it is a really solid game. It's Unreal Engine 5, you know, and I think it's impressing people with its tech, I assume, or just kind of its fast.
Can I jump in
yeah,
1 second? Just I think when people are like, Wukong is so good, I think it's like when people recommend me a shonen anime with really incredible animation, but the story is terrible, the characters are really like shallow, everything else is like not good. But because it's beautiful, they're like, this is anime of the year. It's incredible. Anyway, continue.
No, yeah, I know you feel similarly. She's been watching me play some
do
on
feel
my
similar.
late night streams there. But look, I definitely give credit to where Black Myth Wukong is, and it's awesome to see a new, you know, developer that did like a huge AAA game. I think
Oh, yeah.
it was hyped and surprised folks with its level of polish. That being said, the word I've been using lately, I find exploring its world novice. I think that it's just beautiful brushstrokes of Unreal Engine 5 and nanite tech and all. But then I'm like, man, like I don't even know. Everything's a left and a right turn and a down and up, and it doesn't have the wonder, which is, I use wondrous a lot when I played Elden Ring. And I know, you know, they're not the same gameplay loop, but for as much as I like a lot of parts, I'm struggling to kind of finish it up. And you know, I usually like going back to explore worlds, especially pretty worlds like this, and it just feels like a chore. And again, it's not like it's a bad game by any means. Some of the boss fights are really cool. There's a lot of other little things like invisible wall running into in boss arenas, and a number of, I would say maybe only 5% of my hits, but on big bosses, like I'm missing like major hits where it just doesn't connect with the hitbox. And from a game of the year perspective, I just, where I'm at with it, I don't think it should be on the official list. Now, a user voice list, I can see why. And that's not discrediting you as a fan. I know some people who've like, I played it 3 times. I love it. And I just haven't been able to connect with that. And normally I would.
Yeah.
Like,
So
wait, let me just finish by saying
yeah.
this is the dude that was defending Forspoken has redeeming elements. I'm like, the beginning is crap, you know, but honestly, like the spells and running around that world.
Thanks
like,
for reminding me. I don't respect your opinion.
yeah, but meaning I'm all about redeeming qualities. And this has a bunch of them, but there you go.
Yeah, so my thing with Wukong is, again, do not think it's a bad game. Think it's got a lot of really good stuff. Like the in-between chapter cutscenes, I think are genuinely really unique and creative and impressive. The visuals are really impressive. Some of the boss fights are really good. Like this studio, for their first massive game, has done an incredible job. But the way that I'm playing it, there's a lot of things that I'm experiencing that I would expect from a 3-person indie studio game. Like the exploration in the game, I think is really bad. I think the level design is really bad. We've talked about invisible walls, you know, so many times, but there's nothing that they have done to tell you where you can and cannot go. It's just you just gotta walk over there and see what happens.
It breaks its rules too sometimes. You get
It breaks its own rules. Yeah. Like what
ledge.
we mean by that is like, and if you play something like a really well crafted, Neo does this, Elden Ring, any of FromSoft game does this, you can be cheesed as much as you can cheese them. There are the same rules for all the people. But with Wukong, there are some things where you can get pushed off the ledge, but you can't jump off the ledge. You can like jump off the map in this level, but you can't jump off the map in this level. So they kind of, as they're teaching you stuff about their game logic and their design, they kind of just break it all the time, which ends up not feeling great. I think some of the bosses are like really flashy, and it goes against the bosses being readable and fun to play against.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing is I would love to see what they're going to do with their second game.
Yeah.
But this game feels very novice, like you said, Fran, to where I wouldn't put it in game of the year. I would put it, you could put it in best action. I think having it in other categories makes a lot of sense, but I don't think it has the polish and the expertise as what it should have for game of the year. But I will say, I'm very excited to see what Wukong does for the Chinese game development industry, because we're going, as gamers, we are going to be the ones profiting off of Wukong being as popular and doing as well as it did, because we're going to get a lot more of these like Chinese studios making banging single player games.
So
the way you guys describe this
100%.
game, it sounds like one of those games that like you love. The people who love this game love what it does right so much that they're willing to look past the stuff that it doesn't do right. and they can't wait to see more from this guy. Like it's like the Assassin's Creed 1 dilemma, right? It's like I loved everything they did in that, or I loved so much of what they did right in that game. And yeah, they did a lot wrong, but I could look past it because I love what they did right so much.
So
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. And I was just about to like say, I think it's the perspective you take when you think about what you want from this game. Because I really look at Wukong as just a boss rush mode. So I don't really put the expectations of like a From Software, Elden Ring exploration, like level design to it. I just see that as, yeah, and that is the same criticism, right? Like it's just nice, pretty graphics in between bosses. But I'm still in my head, like I just judge it as that, like as a boss rush mode, and how good is it do that as a boss rush mode, and how fun is the bosses design and mechanics and that kind of stuff. So for me, like in my head, like I 100% agree with everything what's said, but I kind of don't deduct points for it not having great exploration. I just
How far did you get, Myelin, as well?
Yeah,
Because so there's parts of the games that are very
the
not boss rush.
You
I
have
got
to.
into like the snow area.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think I
one's
did
pretty-
20. I think I did 20 hours.
Did you only start the snow area or actually play the snow area?
Yeah, pretty early in the snow
a-
area. So
Pretty blinding wander around, and it goes on. But yeah, you're
That
not
was
wrong.
one. That
Myelin.
was one of the longer chapters of
yeah,
like
20
exploration and not
21
finding
hours. Yeah, I
bosses.
did only have 21 hours in it, which is a yeah.
Yeah, I'm 50
not-
plus
No,
hours.
I was just
halfway.
curious because like the very beginning, I'm like, this is a boss rush, and then I get to like different parts, and I'm like, no, this is like a exploration. They want you to go out and find all of these secrets.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
side
there
quests.
is that
Yeah.
part. I agree. There in that desert area, there was a lot of stuff that wasn't super well guided to like revisit, backtrack, and pretty easy to miss stuff. So you are
did you
right
never-
there.
I'm
Did
really
you never
curious with
feel-
your perspective.
Lost Myelin in the desert as an example, where you
Yeah,
where wait,
definitely.
where am I? Where,
Definitely.
have I been here?
Definitely.
You're right. It's
Definitely,
that's
yeah.
grating at me.
But
that's
see,
all.
and see, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I kind of just forgave that because, and this is what Briar was saying. Like, is the boss fighting so fun that you kind of forgive some of the negatives, and that's what it came down to me. Is like I just couldn't wait to get to the next boss. I didn't really care about having to find like everything in between. But then you punish for not doing that too. So that's like when Watts's argument comes into play. It was like, if you don't do the exploration, which I hate doing anyway, you know me, I just like to rush through games and then miss all the side quests and then complain the game's too hard. So it's like, you know, you will be punished for not checking every corner as well.
To me, it's just a little too big for its britches, and you nailed it. Which is when I first started it, I was like, I heard a bunch of people. I think that's the problem too. Is there was no way to erase going into it that everybody's like, this is my game of the year, and a bunch of other people said it's sort of the God of War of Elden Ring type games, and I was like, huh, really interesting. Can't wait to check it out, you know. And then I started, and it was like, oh, bosses, mini boss. It was like kind of the boss rush thing that you're saying. I was like, okay, just kind of stuck in the forest area, and like that was fine. But then it starts to like open up, and it sort of forces me to start doing the thing that you would do in other places. Like, oh, I found this mask over here.
Gotta go find an item. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, it just feels a little big for its britches. I would prefer that it was as described. A little bit of what you said, boss rush, kind of like God of War, some cutscenes, and it does some neat stuff with animated cutscenes. Just stick to that. Instead, like sometimes it sends me to like this random other world. Yeah, like there's this temple, and like you go there once. It actually lets you go back, and I went back to explore. And there's like literally nothing in there. It looked like an empty Tony Hawk arena with ramps, and I was like, what is going on here? And so that just takes away. So if it was more tightly edited, kind of like I was talking about
maybe
Astrobot,
that's it. Yeah,
I'd be down. Yeah, but again, I don't hate the game or anything. So I'm going to end on the positive, which is it's refreshing to see new ideas in this genre. It is pretty slick on Unreal Engine 5. It's fast, which I think is, it looks really cool.
Beautiful.
And overall, it feels pretty good. And one of the best things about the game is it's not a punishing RPG where you can't respec. It's like you didn't try this all transformation, all stamina build. You didn't try. And once you get into the stats, like you can spend a lot of time just messing around with the points you have. And I think that's really rewarding and fun to do.
I think
I agree.
That was a pretty holistic conversation.
That was very good.
I still got to finish it, but what if I love it after the next 20 hours?
I saw the end of the game, and now it's game of the year for sure.
What if the last
Well,
zone is
sometimes
so
it can
crazy?
change.
It
Yeah.
can. No,
Sometimes the
absolutely.
ending
It
of games
definitely
can really
That's
throw
right.
you off or really cement it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any more Game of the Year stuff?
I don't think so. What I will say, I'll just bring up my anger rising. So Stellar Blade is an incredible game, and it got
Not
nominated
Game
for
of the
like
Year though.
nothing. It's better than Wukong, like 100%. It's got better combat. It's got better level design. It's got better music. But again, this is a
Better
Sony-backed
butts.
game. So, so if you had Wukong backed by Sony, imagine how good that game could have been.
Did you guys hear that Sony's trying to buy
Oh, Kadokawa
From
or
Software?
whatever. The
Anyway,
parent company of that.
play
But yeah.
Stellar Blade, and it's really good.
That is a good reminder. Yeah, no, it's funny, Watts, while playing Wukong,
Briar's
that's
like-
actually
Watts is
he's
like,
like-
did anyone listen to me? We're in Stellar Blade.
Briar's like,
I'm
oh, by the
just
way.
saying the discourse, all
Don't
the
care.
videos that you could not find anyone talking about the combat and how there's 7,000 outfits that are just part of the game that you don't have to pay for. It's all just
you know-
included. You
you-
could find none of that when you were
You know,
looking.
my only complaint about Stellar Blade is it was a little bit too saucy for TikTok, and every time I uploaded a Stellar Blade video, because it was the thumbnail was often like boob or ass, it got like just obliterated and like
Booba.
put in the shadow realm.
Yeah. I mean, Watts, it is nominated for Best Score in Music, so you get that.
Well,
Is
yeah.
it pretty banging?
Well, yeah, it's one of the
Right.
best
Nice.
soundtracks I've heard in a long time.
Nice.
Really good.
Mm-hmm.
But
Um,
Briar, Kadokawa thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From-
This is so a lot of people were like, so Kadokawa is like the parent company of From Software, so people are freaking out
Yeah.
about that. What is more concerning is that Sony owns Crunchyroll. They also took over Aniplex. They took over Funimation. If they own Kadokawa, they own the anime industry.
I don't care.
And they
All I care
no,
about
that's
is
a
From
big
Software.
deal. That's a monopoly on an entire industry that they own all of. Like
I think
that
that's
is
probably-
genuinely scary.
You're probably approaching that part from the same reason I'm concerned about them owning From Software then, because I don't want them to own From Software. I want From Software games to come out on all platforms, and I don't want
That'd be
one or
great.
two companies owning all the developers and like shutting them down at their whims, as Sony has done in the past and as Microsoft has done in the past. And that's probably a lot of what your concern is about them owning all the anime.
Well, no, it's a
Is
bit
the-
different with all anime, but
Yeah, that was-
that's a
isn't
long
like the anime industry already like artists are already super underpaid as it is? Like, isn't it quite
Yeah,
an
no, it's
issue with
really bad.
anime?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really bad. Voice actors, changing scripts to, yeah, how it's translated. It's a whole thing.
So one thing I saw was that, yeah, especially for Crunchyroll, was there was speculations like, oh well, Sony, like maybe that's one of the big things they want. So maybe not just anime, but like, do you think Crunchyroll could ever be more than just anime, Watts? Or that would be really weird for the community
I don't think so.
too? Because
Yeah,
you remember Crackle, anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
that
Crackle
was-
gone? Is that
What
gone?
was Crackle?
I'm pretty sure that was Sony's streaming
Yeah.
service, I think. But yeah, actually, there's still a Crackle website. No, there's a 404 page now found. But yeah, I think Crackle was Sony in the past, but they don't have a place to stream, from a, they're a major motion picture, TV, music company. And I there was some speculation from folks that maybe Crunchyroll plays into that.
It
It's
would be
definitely not
strange.
just games, bigger than From Software.
Have you guys looked at the document about the Kadokawa thing? Because there's been a lot of like back and forth about what's actually happening. First, it was a rumor that Sony approached Kadokawa. Then there was a thing of like, actually, Kadokawa approached them for something else. And yeah, I haven't read the latest.
I
on
haven't.
it.
I don't think there's any. There was an official like, we'll announce something if it happens. I think, but I don't think there's been much official beyond that, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I don't want
yeah, the-
platform exclusives in general.
No.
So,
No, I agree. I do
Yeah, I
want
think-
Bloodborne 2, so I'm a little
Which-
torn.
Yeah.
yeah, this is how it happens.
Yep. Yeah, I think their official comment, at least the last one I saw from about a day or so ago, was like, this information is not announced by the company. Company has received an initial letter of intent to acquire the company's shares, but no decision has been made at this time. So
Okay.
We shall see.
Intent.
Letter of intent. Yeah, I mean that does sound like things are moving though. So, but
Well, I wonder. I mean, with obviously the Kadokawa is the parent company, but I feel like From Software could, Bungie did the thing of like, yeah, we will go under you, but we're still going to be releasing all of our stuff on every platform. So
Yeah.
I wonder, FromSoft could have that kind of leverage of like, yeah, sure, but we're not doing platform exclusivity.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like it just doesn't seem to make sense, right? Like nobody wants Elden Ring just on PlayStation.
No.
Because it's
Sony
right.
does.
I mean, we never wait. Yes, Sony does. let's stay focused on Bloodborne at 60 frames a second and a sequel. All right. If you got to pay $5
I mean, but they're
billion,
obviously
$10
thinking
billion,
like, imagine the selling power of Elden Ring and From Software games on console exclusive.
yeah. I mean, you got to look forward to where you've got PlayStation Plus, you got cloud streaming service stuff. I mean, when you're at the point of purchasing companies, even like Bungie, you're really looking forward to justifying it with like, oh, but an all-in-one streaming, watch anime, play games solution. Who knows? Maybe that's something on Sony's list, is to sort of fight against Game Pass, not only with their service, but have all Crunchyroll's anime on it and cloud service. You know what I mean? You never know. I thought of that because PlayStation Portal got an update. You don't have one of those, do you, Briar?
No.
Oh,
I've thought
we
about
need you to.
picking one up.
That's perfect for you because it's another version of that. You've got all that stuff.
All
But
right,
get
I'll get
one and
one. You
update
give
us.
it to me. I'll get
They
one.
patched in
You're a
some
pro,
games.
go get one. Well, Fran is a pro.
But they
Totally.
patched in some that work on the cloud and
I
you
guess-
don't need to own a PlayStation for that, I don't think. So it's really interesting because it's only I mean, what is it? $300 for PlayStation Portal, but
Yeah, it's only $300.
anyways. Well, it's not $700 like the PlayStation Pro. That's all I'm saying. So
Yeah.
but it
Fuck,
would
if
allow you to
Can I
put.
bundle it in and get like a
Actually, it's
penny discount?
$199, dude. Dude, just get an open box one for like $120 and update us, okay?
Okay.
But yeah, like meaning now you're getting into like maybe for in the future, let's just even say for $150 when it hits that price point to play maybe the next Ghost of Yote, but not own a PlayStation 5. Maybe, GTA 6.
Related
Oh
to
yeah,
Steam
everyone
Deck
go
Portal.
vote for Monster Hunter Wilds and most anticipated. We must take down the everyday gamer. They will not win. Thank you.
I don't know about that.
Related to the Portal, I was reminded that I can't play my Xbox Game Pass games on my Steam Deck because I was like, oh, Metal Slug would be perfect Steam Deck game.
That would
Like,
be. Yeah.
I mean, I
I
probably
said-
could load Windows on my Steam Deck. I tried that once before and
You
I hated
could,
every second
yeah.
of it. So
Yeah.
I ended up undoing it. But
I don't want to deal with that.
yeah, same. I think I'll
Yeah, they
buy
said that-
Metal Slug on Steam Deck or Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's worth it. So you can have it on the Steam Deck or have it on both.
Because
And to be
I
clear,
played the first 20 minutes of it, just fucking around with it. I'm like, I don't want to be doing this on my computer. I want to be doing this on a handheld. And
Yeah. But I was just gonna say,
Stalker.
Metroid Prime 4 is on that anticipated list. So sorry, you got to go vote for that. I
Yeah,
have nothing against
sorry.
Wilds.
Yeah,
sorry,
gotta do
Wilds. We don't get enough Metroid Primes. You get enough
Agreed.
Monster Hunters. All right.
did you play that remake, Fran?
I started it. Played it several hours. Man, it's nice.
It
It's
is.
real
It's
nice.
outstanding.
Wait,
It's
I can't believe it's
lovely
running
game.
that good on a Switch.
Dude, it
Was-
ran 60 on
was-
GameCube.
Yeah, that's true.
Was there another talking about you get enough Monster Hunters? Was there another Monster Hunter thing announced? Or am I
The mobile
crazy?
We talked
game,
about
didn't
it
we?
last-
The mobile
I think we talked about
last
the mobile
week.
game.
Just
already.
no. Was there another thing apart from the mobile? Or am I insane?
No,
Just a
the
moment.
only
Okay.
thing that they announced was they're holding like an in-person beta for Wilds in Japan. So over
Right.
2 days. I think that was the only thing. Although Fran was saying, people were telling me that Fran told them that his friend went to Japan to the Capcom offices for something to do with Wilds.
I didn't mention that. Must have been someone else, but that is true. That the
They're
kind of
like, "How
funny
did you
Andy,
know?"
I think, from kind of funny.
That's what they said. You said.
I didn't say that, dude. I
Well,
must be out of my
someone
mind if I.
hacked
you.
Well, you
Fran.
have the information, Fran.
Suspect.
Someone mind hacked you. Someone-
What?
Like,
They
what's it called?
said-
You've been severed.
Yeah,
was
I
it
was
work,
I
Fran?
was told that Fran's friend was flown to Capcom Japan for Wild stuff.
You know what it is? Is I'm part of the kind of funny, just broader family, and I think they just thought I said it. I don't know who said it, but it
I
wasn't
won't.
me.
Hope it was you, apparently,
Anyway,
Fran. Yeah.
Andy
Wait, don't
posted
tell
about
Fran
it.
your
He's
secrets.
in
Jeez.
Osaka.
You can,
so.
yeah. But so, news is probably coming soon as they've flown a bunch of press specifically to Japan. They've flown people who live right near the Capcom office in San Fran to Japan. So something's
It's serious.
happening.
After playing the demo, I'm kind of like, okay, I don't need any more news. I just want to play the game now. I'm
News
ready.
helps sustain. Oh, I popped one. I don't have it next to me anymore. I got a confetti cannon to pop
Yes,
when it got
please.
to double digits days until wilds.
Nice.
Very loud, very messy.
Fun.
Fun. Good times.
I played a game called The Last Faith. You guys heard of this? The Last Faith?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've got. I don't know
No.
how many hours I've got in it, but I've got some hours.
This is a cross between Metroidvania and a Souls-like game, 2D
Okay.
kind of Metroidvania style exploration. Very
Very beautiful.
Castlevania inspired graphics, although
Oh.
not super
That's right.
colorful. I would say a little
It's a good game.
like very well drawn art, but not super like.
I've been meaning to try this.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool. It's very cool. It's
It
got
looks
like a
nice.
lot of the Dark
is very
Soulsy
cool.
kind of things where you gotta go to a bonfire and that kind of like Soulsy stuff.
Pixel art is so good though. Oh man.
Yeah,
It's
I find it a
already in
little
my
uneven.
library. I obviously never played it.
the
It's
pixel art.
uneven, bro.
Yeah, it's like the characters are well drawn and well animated as well, and
Mhm.
and like the bad guys are as well. The backgrounds they're really well drawn, but they're just like they're very samey. It's like I'm always looking at like blue and gray and brown, like with like kind of my favorites of the genre. It's like you get a little more variety of spaces, and it's like it's exciting to go through a door and see, oh wow, like now I'm in this like new area.
That's
And,
fair. Yeah.
Like I'm not getting that yet, but hopefully it'll increase the variety as we go. I do really like the feel of the weapons, and I really like
Yeah.
upgrading everything, and like the feel of the game is outstanding. So I'm gonna keep playing this one.
The
I'm a big fan of those.
animations on
Nice.
like the main character really got me. I was like, that is some cool animation work.
Yeah,
on that
and like
guy.
with all the different weapon types too, like to be able to animate all that different stuff, like different swings for different weapons. Very cool.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
this
it's a
a
cool
Steam
game.
Deck game for you primarily?
Yes, absolutely.
I was playing it on my Steam Deck too.
Yeah,
It's perfect for that.
yeah, it is
Um,
really perfect.
Can I ruin everyone's life in chat like I've already done?
You already
for
have, but let's-
many of my.
Yeah.
Twitch.
Oh, let's hear it.
So, anyways, didn't know what to play on stream one day, and then someone's like, "I'm addicted to the new Pokemon card game." I'm like, "Huh? There's a new Pokemon card game?" I look it up on your mobile. Came out end of October. It's Pokemon trading card game Pocket? Question mark.
That's nominated for best mobile game of the year. Myelin.
Mm.
Yeah, it's got 10 million downloads. 10 million downloads since the end of
million.
October or something. Or like
easy.
nuts.
Crazy.
It says
Um,
Pokemon right on the tin.
Yeah, true. And yeah, you realize as a child you were participating in gambling because that's what opening Pokemon cards is. So
Yes.
you open a bunch of cards,
I got a
digital
shiny.
cards. You get shinies, you get hollows, like 0.002% chance to get a full art hollow Mewtwo, but you do get to battle them, which is super nice. I never played the card game before. So you can actually play the card game against people online. You can do private matches. I'm probably going to organize a Pokemon tournament.
Oh man, this is
That'd
like
be
Briar
fun.
and Warhammer.
I love this.
Yep.
You guys are
This is like
lost. Watts,
Pokemon
it's just us now, Watts. For the last one standing.
Well, it's. I mean, if you grew up with Pokemon, it's super nostalgic because a lot of it's like Gen 1 Pokemon. So like
Yay.
it's nice seeing the card art and filling out your collections kind of deal. Of course, it's free to play. Of course, there's microtransactions. Of course, it's like every mobile game
How do
where
you get the cards,
Yeah.
Myelin? Do you gotta pay for the decks of cards like you do in real life?
No, so well, yeah. So what happens is you have to wait 12 hours to open a pack. and there's a Charizard pack, a Mewtwo pack, or a Pikachu pack.
Why do you
and
gotta
they've
wait
got
12
different-
hours to open a pack?
You know why?
Because
if
it's
No,
you
a
I
want
don't.
to,
You log
mobile
back in.
game.
because if
It-
you want to speed up the time, you pay money.
Oh,
Pay
so you
money?
get
So-
packs for free?
You get
Yeah,
packs
so you
for
get
free.
you get
Okay.
you get packs every 12 hours for free that you can open up, and then you've got like bounties, like anything else that you can do. You know, like fight, people online, complete a bounty, and you can use that currency to, take off an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever. So you got little quests you can do to speed up that time, but eventually, once you've done all your stuff, the only way you can open up packs quicker is to spend some money. Otherwise, you wait 12 hours, open a pack, and go from there.
And he's having a good time.
What do you think about that, Fran?
Oh, Fran tore me a new one talking about a
I-
different free-to-play
No.
game last night. You should see. You be careful, Myelin. He's coming
I'm
for
on
you.
my, as you know, my curmudgeon-y arc of like free to play stuff. It's not that I don't play stuff.
Honestly,
like
Fran,
this
I
stuff,
think just while you're
become very
playing Wukong, bringing stuff to you is just a great idea if you want Fran to be sassy with you.
but-
Mid
I'm always-
Wukong, bring something up. He's
Yeah.
I
Fran,
guess
what do
I
you think
am
about
sassy.
microtransactions? Yeah.
I mean, on top of that, I just cleared my vault out the day before. She shows up talking about the latest free play game. No, it's you've heard me on the show, and like I'm just looking, and it's funny. I see an article here on IGN that somebody spent $1,500, getting all of the stuff to complete the first set, and it's just like I talked to Watts about it, and like some of it's really cool to have free games, especially on mobile. And there's plenty of people who just, it's fine, it doesn't burn them. But there's some people who get like legit addicted. They like
Yeah.
either
Yeah.
steal their,
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
parents' credit card or they bring themselves into debt, because of these things. And I'm like,
And
that's
I think
their fault. But
that's like where I see with it is, and I don't know why I never thought of this before, but like it is legit gambling. Like you
It
don't
is,
have
yeah.
any increase odds of getting the cards you want when you spend real money. Like it is, and the chances of getting certain things are quite literally like 0.02%. Right. So, and it does tell you the odds because it has to, because it's gambling, and it has to tell you the exact odds of you getting stuff.
yeah.
With all that said, I have actually enjoyed the card game aspect of it. I have enjoyed the nostalgia of collecting. But I'm also with you, like this is why mobile games make so much money, is like it taps into that very addictive dopamine drop of getting something out of a card
Did you ever play
pack.
Hearthstone? Myelin?
No, I didn't. I play a
I can't be
fair bit of
trusted
Magic.
around that game back in the day.
I mean, but this
Yeah, I love
happened to me
this
in
type
real
of
life
stuff.
with Magic the Gathering. Like I
Yeah.
was playing with friends in real life, and then I got sick of the gambling, so I just started
Got it.
buying individual cards online, and then eventually it was no longer fun because we were all just buying bullshit cards, and then I gave up,
Yeah.
and then
Did you
I
play
gave my
Marvel,
cards to Holtzman.
Marvel Snap? Holtzman.
What's that? I
you
did
play
get into
Snap?
Marvel Snap, so yeah, I actually really like Marvel Snap too. I think I played a fair few.
Seems like you should
Look-
play Balatro, Myelin.
I
Seems
played
like
Balatro
that-
on stream,
Yeah,
but
okay,
it didn't have the big dopamine drops like it does getting a Pikachu
Because
out
you
of the
couldn't
out of
spend
a-
real money to. You were
Yeah,
actually gambling. There's no
Yeah.
real gambling.
And I should say, putting aside all the Gamba stuff, is the free to play stuff is actually just the amount of time that it can take from you and games, and like it's up to you. You can do whatever you want, but all I want to say is, like, when you look around and we say, whatever, why don't I get more Metroid Primes? And I wish there were more games like Baldur's Gate or Baldur's Gate is fine, bad example, but you know what I mean. There's a lot of games, and so I just really always in being the person who's encouraging, like, vote with your time, because they might be fun, but is it a good choice? That's all I'm saying.
Well, okay, so here's the thing, and this is like, I actually was saying this to Watts and on Twitter. It was like, I see the appeal of mobile games now because I don't have enough time to sit at my computer, and often I can't be on my computer over the weekends. And even once Leo gets home and you got kids to look after and stuff, but I can often get a cheeky game of Pokemon in that takes,
yeah.
that on my mobile, and I definitely see the appeal of mobile games.
There
and
are
how that
mobile
might
games that
fit-
aren't predatory too.
Oh, there's
Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah, yeah.
plenty of just good
But where's the
games
fun in
on
that?
mobile.
Yeah.
But hey, I actually would want to shout out, I don't know if it's still an Apple Arcade exclusive, but one of my favorite mobile games, that's a card game as well, Card of Darkness. If you've never played it, very clever, fun and really easy to pick up and play. So if you have Apple Arcade, just try Card of Darkness for me. An actual non-Gamba, non-free-to-play, just fun game to play on mobile that's got cards. It's a lot of fun.
Balatro has a mobile version.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
does, yeah. And people were like, "Don't do it! It's a literal crack." And it's actually been really funny following it because there's been a lot of people who were like, "Why is a card game nominated for Game of the Year?" And then they try it and they come back and apologize.
Oh.
They're like, "Oh, it's a like roguelike poker, like really cool take on, this genre."
Do you
there's
happen to know if the mobile version is like, other than like a space to click on, I read, is it definitely exactly the same across the board?
I can't answer that. I haven't played.
I don't know for
Okay.
sure, unfortunately. Really quick, seeing as we were just talking about free-to-play games, I do want to give a shout out to a game that came out yesterday. It's called Supervive, all one word, Supervive. It was in alpha testing for a long time. Like they had a lot of people giving them feedback on it. It's made by a studio of people who left their pretty cushy jobs at Riot and Respawn, because these were like pretty high up people at these companies, and they decided to branch off onto their own. It's an indie game published and developed just by them. They're called Theorycraft Games. And it went into it's being described as open beta because they haven't hit season 1 yet, but it's like completely open, like this is the game. The game is
Right.
out. It is a MOBA mixed with like a BR kind of shooter game.
MOBA combat with BR gameplay.
See, it's interesting though because it's not MOBA combat either, because you're moving with WASD and you're aiming by actually pointing your mouse.
Like a
MOBA
twin stick,
point of
more
view.
like? Twin stick shooter kind of.
See, that's what I said, Briar. I said it actually kind of feels like a twin stick shooter in how it plays, but you have like the leveling up of a MOBA and like that of a MOBA, but it's a BR.
This looks
So
sick.
I think the
Yeah, it
art
does
is
look- it
really
does look
cool. It's a very overwhelming game, but I think it's really fun. And when I was playing during alpha, I was like, I can see that it's a fun game, but like maybe it's not for me because I'm just playing against people who have 70 hours in the alpha. And here's me coming. But now it's open to everyone, and there's like 50,000 people playing it. You have space to learn the game.
Yeah, I think that put me off at first. And also I think like if you're don't play MOBAs, it definitely takes it's like not playing first person shooters and then trying to play Call of Duty and wondering why you keep dying to everyone. It's like there's a skill set with kind of playing those kind of games and that viewpoint, and just like my boomer eyes, like seeing all the effects on a screen.
There's a lot going on. Like
there's a lot going on.
Yeah, like last night, I still like just do recommended. I'm not like kind of in League of Legends. League of Legends will recommend you like loadouts and stuff, and that's fine to do for a little while. That's what I'm doing with Supervive. I'm just trying to take in the map and the mini map and like moving around it and getting to clicking my buttons properly. So it is definitely an overwhelming experience, but last night they've changed a lot from alpha to it actually coming into beta. A lot has changed. Last night I felt by the end of the night I was like, yeah, I'm getting it. I'm getting into the groove. I'm feeling good about it. So if you do jump in, just be aware it is a bit overwhelming, but it is a very unique take on it, and it is very, very fun.
Yeah, I couldn't look at it last night. Watts was telling me about it, but I was able to now. And I was like, honestly, it looks pretty good. I'm like, who are these people? So I was digging while you were chatting. I mean, they have some talented folks who've worked on big games. Interestingly enough, like one of the folks, senior designer, worked on Destiny 2 and Warmind as a combatant designer. And they got a number of other folks from Blizzard, I think, and Insomniac. And so, yeah, interesting. A team that brings a lot of experience, it would seem.
A lot of experience, yeah. Like the guy who I know who works there, and is how I found out about it initially, was he worked on Destiny. That might be the guy you're talking about. He was David Bojack.
Yeah, that's what
I'm talking about. So he was a combatant designer at Bungie, and then he moved to Respawn. And like, if you guys remember the Apex bow, it's called the Bojack. That's named after him because he made the bow.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So he went to Respawn, and so he has the BR experience. He's got the shooter experience, and then he's working on this game. So they have some very, very talented people, and they're doing it all alone. They don't have a publisher. And they kind of full sent it, and we're just like, okay, just the hope it takes off.
Full send.
Yep.
Yeah. So
it's
I
a
don't love
pretty
the
cool
free to
story.
play games, but this one actually it looks all right.
And I will say, at least I'm sure
Maybe I'll
maybe
check it
when
out.
season 1 hits, like a battle pass might come out. But as of right now, there's no battle pass. There's skins, but there's like account progression. So as you're just like playing and leveling up, you get stuff for your account and characters and stuff.
Yeah, and we talked about it a bit. I don't have anything against battle passes and stuff. It's just like the formula for your time that I think about a lot. And
Yeah.
but man, you need we were talking about this last night is why it's fresh. And Wass is like, yeah, but most PvP games are like free to play. I'm like, well, yeah, like you really need a big community. Like I completely respect what they bring. It's just how hungry a lot of these games are for your time. That's all. And how it affects the design of others where it's like just trying to get you to spend as much time because you're more likely to open your wallets up. And that's how we end up in some situations. But no, this game looks cool.
Yeah, give it a try. You will be. I'm just saying you will be overwhelmed for a little bit, but just like click on the recommended and find a character that you think is fun and shoot people for a little
Very
bit.
colorful.
Yeah,
It is. Yeah.
I like the colors.
Yeah, the
I,
colors, children.
I jumped into Halo Infinite again this week because
Oh, I saw
I
that.
just wanted to see where it was at.
Mm.
And unfortunately, my opinion is the same as when I first played it. It's like the sandbox, and when you get into the game, it's so much fun. It's so polished, and it's good times. But my God, the UI system is so goddamn trash. It pisses me off just trying to play it.
Which part
Because
of that?
the custom games is so infuriating because, I'm like, let's get on, let's have some fun. Let's do some custom games. I got people we can play with. What do we want to do? It's just atrocious. You can pick a game mode that's not supported by a game map, right? It's like, oh, they have this new third person firefight mode where you just survive waves, right? I'm like, okay, cool. Let's try that. I picked that game mode. We load into the map. Nothing spawns. What's going on? I'm like, oh, you probably picked the wrong map for the wrong game mode. I was like, why does it allow me to pick a map that's not supported by the game mode?
Yeah, it
That
should be
is
grayed out.
wild.
You know what I mean?
It should be grayed out. Yeah.
And like and knowing everything and finding that, like, I mean, I think the custom menu anyway is
But
even
yeah,
just
you
getting
were
people to join you.
custom stuff.
How do you get people to join you? Like, we have to re-educate ourselves on how
Someone
people
told
join you.
me what you did to figure it out, and it's like, I'm watching Myelin watch a video that he
3
made.
years ago. Someone has a clip of me of 60 seconds of like, this is how you join me in Halo Infinite. I rewatched a clip of myself saying, here's how you join me in Halo Infinite from 3 years ago to rework out how to get my lobby open and to get people into the game.
It's really funny.
Wait. Just how do you do it? Because I'm pretty familiar with getting people in my match. Is it different for custom games that you had like a lobby
Well,
of a custom game?
if you want to get
just
like you want to get a team together, right? You have
Right.
to like open your party, which is
Yes.
not like the way
and
you
don't
click on
the
stuff
gray
is
thing, click the
exactly.
other thing.
Don't click the gray thing. You got to click
Okay.
on the specific spot.
Yes. So if that's what it's about, I cannot believe they haven't fixed that. Like it works fine, but it's baffling and it never
It's
works.
unintuitive.
Yes.
It's unintuitive and it's frustrating.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because when you get into a game and you finally get in the game, it's really fun. And you're like, but it's just like, yeah, there's too many things. There's too many UI things going on. There's so many bloody game modes. Just like,
So what,
and then I ended up open because then people were like, I still can't join, so I opened it to the public, and then random people started joining, which is like, oh, this is kind of cool. But then they got annoyed because then I was messing around trying to get the right map and the right mode together. I'm like, guys, do these go together? Can I do these together? No indication if they'll work. People started leaving the lobby because they're waiting for the custom game to start because they joined because my lobby was open.
Yeah.
so that being said, do you play any just regular matches, not custom?
Yeah, so then we
And
just went into some big team battle with like the people we had but once again, like, okay, how many people do we have? We have 8 people in here. Okay, we can't do the 4v4s, we can't do those.
Right.
We can do the 12v12s, we do the 8v8 game modes. All right, let's like that playlist.
Right. But once you got in, I was just curious, did
you have fun?
Do you enjoy it? Or at that point were you just too annoyed?
It's like, no, it's also trash. I hated all of it.
No. Once I got in, it's good. It's fun.
Yeah.
I
Still
think
fun.
they need that, like, that it needs to be, I don't know, streamlined with how you get in and play with friends and selecting matches and
Yeah.
modes and stuff like that.
The irony is that that's stupid. There's a couple of things with the custom menus that are separate, but just like getting someone in your squad, the irony is it's actually really easy in that someone could just follow you on Xbox, which is very rare in other platforms. Like, I don't want to friend you. I don't want to be your friend. And I actually had lauded, and maybe you may or may not realize this, that you just have them follow your username and it syncs up and then they can join and use as your lobby's open. And I was like, more games need to do this. But unfortunately, it's got all the other issues that it confuses people.
Yeah, but like, okay, so like the reason why that can be confusing is they follow you, but the setting that's in the game is friends. So they can follow you and then you open your settings to friends and then they can join you even though you're not friends, but they follow you. And you got to open up the Xbox Game Pass to do that. So if I'm on PC, I got to have the Xbox Game Pass open.
You
Well,
mean if they want to
like,
follow you? If they want to follow you?
Yeah, true. Yeah. But I've also got to give them my Xbox Game Pass. You know what I mean? Like, it's
I don't know. It's definitely unintuitive. I know you just were doing this. But like for me, I was just saying it was nice for me. I'm like, just follow FM3 on Xbox. And I literally would be like, I'm playing, I'm streaming it. Don't bother me, basically. I'm not going to be your friend. And the next match, it'll just sync up. And actually, when it works, I'm like, that's nice. But
I mean, that's what my clip was. My clip was go out of Halo, open up your Xbox app, type in Myelin Games, follow me on Xbox, then go back into Halo.
And yeah,
that's
like,
already ridiculous.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, if you're them, like I was selfish about it. I was like, I'm not being your friend. Yeah, I didn't want to do what you're describing, but yeah, you're right. I actually just use the Xbox mobile app, and again, it's kind of easy. But you're right, it's not intuitive. It should just be in the game, you know.
I mean, if you look at something like Destiny, right? Like you have a Bungie ID in the game, they can invite you or join you through your ID.
Yeah.
Open up your lobby. People just join that way, you know.
Yeah.
Search for your ID. Yeah.
But anyway, fun game at its core. But you know, Halo Studios
good sandbox. I don't think there's much UI changes going on.
Yeah, I think they've moved on, right, to Unreal Engine 5.
Interestingly, it says the opening scenes still say 343 Industries. So that hasn't. That's still under the same.
Like, that should tell you everything is with the rebrand and all. They're just not even spending time to get it in the game. Like, there's too many things to fix with that.
Yeah.
You guys want to do some questions?
Yeah, Fran, it's getting towards your time.
I think we'll be all right if we're not going. Well, I'll just bounce if you go with a bunch of questions, but I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay.
Watts put up a call for questions on Blue Sky Social.
I did. Yeah, I did. I just did it on my account. And I was like, let's see how much interest there is, how it goes, and it's pretty good for like a fairly new account on Blue Sky. So
yeah. And the first question we got is awesome. It's from Charles Pumba. He says, Charles B. Davis from Twitter here. I'm never going back to Twitter. What else will you never go back to? Love your work, DCP.
Never go back to a place.
I am definitely trying to get myself off of Twitter. Like, it has become
Blue Sky is nice. If you want an experience that's like Twitter, Blue Sky has been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I interpreted that as like, because he said I'm never going back to Twitter, like including games you would never go back to, that it was just so awful, like games you would never.
So Florida popped in my head. I wasn't even thinking of games.
Oh, Florida,
like,
true.
Florida.
I will avoid Florida.
Dealer's choice.
Yeah, my grandparents all moved out of Florida or died, and so I never have to go back to Florida for family reasons unless another person goes back there, in which case they're dead to me, and I've made that known.
Driving in Florida is quite an experience.
Ugh.
We had to drive in like torrential rain in Florida. That was
that happens every afternoon at 3:00.
It is all the time. You're right. It is all the time. It's constant.
Never go back to high school.
Oh, good one.
My friend, I'm just gonna, I know you look very young, but I don't want to see you hanging around high school.
No, a substitute teacher at best, you know. I'm not. It's not gonna happen.
You've brought up a lot of trauma, and I would never go back to doing a PhD. Oh my lord, that was the most soul-sucking experience of my entire life.
That's good ones. Yeah, school, period. No thanks.
Yeah. School's
Yeah.
a good one.
But if I'm talking about games, what was that game
E3.
I hated that was from Software? What's the
The Elden Ring, Shadow of the Earth Tree,
No, I can go back to
Demon
Elden Ring.
Souls, Dark Souls,
Sekiro,
Bloodborne,
No,
Armored Core.
no, the rip-off one.
Armored Core.
Not Armored Core.
Oh.
That's not bad.
Rip
Okay, you said
off.
not FromSoft.
Not from Soft.
Oh,
Lies
no.
of P.
No,
Uh,
I'm gonna open my channel
Mortal
see the
Shell?
review on it.
I wouldn't go back to
Shadow
Mortal
Lords
Shell.
or
Listen,
something
I
like that?
appreciated what they were doing at Mortal Shell, but I did not like it. I didn't talk about bad environment design.
We'll hold
Jesus
that
Christ.
thought till next
No,
week.
see, now that is a very small company.
Lords of Shadow? Is that what it's called? Lords
Yeah,
of-
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Lords
that
of
one.
the Fallen.
Lords of
Lords of the
Fallen.
Fallen. Fuck
Oh my God,
that
you
game.
hated
I'm
Lords of
never. I hated
was
that so
so
much. I
funny.
would never go back.
That was so funny.
Uh,
Honestly, Myelin, I think watching you play games you hate is a real niche that I enjoy.
I know. That's the thing is I have such a bad time, but everyone's like, I enjoy my time here. I'm like, fuck you, fuck everyone.
Well, that's why. So Myelin wants to solo Alatreon, right? And I was like, Myelin, as a friend, no. As a viewer, yes, please.
Yes.
'Cause-
Well, we did just get through Raging Bracky, so that's been nice.
that was good. That was a big achievement.
That was a big achievement.
I got the
Yeah.
hobbits and lambs. We did a little bit of Raging Bracky today, so they're ready for you.
Nice.
Really?
I even cosplayed you and died a lot. That was why I died. Yes.
Dude, fuck Raging Bracky.
Musically Clean says, for each class, which subclass have you gone the longest without playing and why? What could
Ooh,
Bungie do to make you want to play those subclasses more?
Let me think. If you think of just like your least appealing subclass of any class.
My problem
So-
is like way before I even think about subclasses, like the Vault, the games, been the same for so long. But if you're forcing me to play more classes,
The Golden Gun on the Hunter, like I liked it so much early in Destiny 1, but like the gimmick of it, of the Golden Gun Super, kind of wore out on me in Destiny 2. It never felt as good as it did in Destiny 1. I did like the knife throwing situation. That was fun.
It's true. Yeah, I haven't felt a want to play Solar Hunter
Yeah.
a long time.
I like all the classes. I just don't have time for them. That's all. I don't
All
think
the
I'm,
Warlock subclasses.
Yeah, pretty much Warlock in general. But mostly probably like so what's the Briar call it? The piss fountain.
The well.
The well.
Mm.
Like I don't think I would do. I don't know. It's a support class. You got to be happy doing support. So, not too sure what Bungie would do. I don't think it's a subclass thing for me. It's a game thing for me. Playing
Yeah,
in
like I
general.
play Hunter, and it's like I don't have any major issues with any of the other. I mean, I guess. Yeah, I get more just stuck on builds where I'm just like, I just don't want to redo a bunch of stuff. It's more about that, I think. Laziness.
Mad Geek says, in the U.S., turkey was associated with Thanksgiving dinner since it was easily found, easy to kill, cook, and feed multiple people. It's also delicious. You forgot the most important part. If European Australians developed a Thanksgiving feast early after arriving, working with Aborigines, what animal would they feast on? Sand goanna? Kangaroo?
And probably a kangaroo.
No koalas?
It's a little dangerous to take them out though. Like turkey versus kangaroo.
Do you have
is
many
a bit,
ostrich around down
different.
there?
Emus. There's emus and
Oh,
kangaroos.
you definitely don't want to be getting emus. They will.
Kangaroos are
arrested.
definitely we already lost once against the emus, so we're not
Yeah.
gonna fucking try to kill them for a celebration.
They're gonna have you for Thanksgiving.
They'll be like, well,
But you-
Thanksgiving for the birds. It's people.
You could definitely take out kangaroos, and kangaroo tastes pretty good. You got the kangaroo tail, you got the kangaroo meat.
Kangaroo tail.
Yeah, you have kangaroo
a whole
tail.
new
I've never
Thanksgiving
thought about
vibe.
that.
What's the
Yeah.
tail?
Yeah, they
Kangaroos, I love kangaroo videos on YouTube where like they're like attacking some guy's dog, and the guy comes to rescue the dog and like has to like fight the kangaroo.
Yeah.
Like for some reason, the kangaroos are so jacked, and they're like,
yeah.
"Are you
Yeah,
sure
they're
you want to
big.
do this?"
Kangaroo's gonna be pretty big.
Yeah.
I've actually never had kangaroo tail. But I think the meat on kangaroo tail is really good. You just put it over like open coals and you cook it that way.
Mm.
And yeah,
That's
and you
right.
kind of like pull the meat off. Yeah, I think it's quite nice.
So like pork, I wonder.
Pulled
know.
kangaroo sandwiches.
Well, it'll be a red meat, so probably.
Oh, it's
Kangaroo's like, it's very lean, so you don't want to overcook it. Like it doesn't have much fat on it. And I don't know, it tastes gamey. You know,
Like deer?
I don't know how to describe that. It tastes gamey.
Yeah. Usually,
Have
not a
you
fan of
ever
that.
stuck an appendage inside a kangaroo's pouch?
I was like, shit. No, I have fed kangaroos because you go to the park, go to parks and stuff, and you can feed them, and they're pretty placid. The ones that are used to a lot of human interaction, but I wouldn't be sticking my hands in their pouches.
Yeah.
No?
I don't think
My
he's
God,
talking
you
about
might get
hands, Myelin. I don't think he's talking about hands.
Pondershock says, what do you think the implication are for Destiny 2 if Destiny Rising takes off and is very successful?
This is a Fran question. Fran, what's the implication
it's
on Destiny 2 as a...
But we talked about it before, which is it potentially can make tons of money. I assume Bungie will get revenue share. And that means they have more room to breathe when it comes to games like Destiny and Marathon and stuff. That's really the only upside, is that you'll get your Destiny 3 in, 7 years if it does really well.
Maybe I'll get a damn
Will
scythe
you?
in the game, actually, eventually, finally.
That too.
That would be nice.
You'll get SRL back from the looks. If you love it in Destiny Rising, we'll
People
count
do
on it.
love SRL.
Yeah, it is going to be really interesting to see Bungie's reaction to once it's
Maybe we'll get
fully
player
out.
housing like is in Destiny Rising. And clan
There's
housing.
Player housing? I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
there's a lot of things that
Yeah.
people have wanted in Destiny.
All the trappings.
Yeah.
Endgame Express says, what do you all want for Christmas? No passing or saying something like socks or I don't need anything. What do you really want? Yo, I literally asked my whole family for merino wool socks last year, and I got a ton of them, and I've been loving it all year.
I need some right now.
Dude,
It's like
I am killing it all year. I got some running ones for the summer. I got nice thick ones for the winter. I've been just loving them, and they last so long. Loving my merino wool socks.
Any kitchen upgrade is good for me. You can take your choice. Just a really cool kitchen upgrade is very, very Fran 2024 Christmas. Meaning I'm like, I need a new oven. I'll look at because mine broke. I'm not gonna ask for an oven, but any upgrade like that.
I think an actual reasonable gift. I think I'd like a nice bracelet. I've never had a nice bracelet, one that's sentimental, nice, looks nice. I've never had a good one, so
Nice.
that'd be nice.
It's a good choice.
Christmas presents?
Yeah, what do you want?
Sorry, I just stepped away. You know what I actually want?
To be left alone.
Tail grill.
Yeah, to have a
Custom
day to myself. What is the VR that's wireless? Is it Meta? I kind of want to.
Oh yeah, Meta
Yeah, I
Quest.
kind of want a Quest.
Yeah,
because
that's a good gift.
I do love VR. I play it sporadically. My nieces love it. When they come over, I'm like, oh, can we play VR? Gotta set it up. I gotta plug it all into my gaming setup and put up the sensors and everything. But they go crazy. I kind of would like the ease of a Meta Quest. That's probably one thing. I don't know how expensive they are though. So I don't know if that's the only thing I would get.
They're not too
300 and
crazy.
go up to about 500.
Yeah, they might be a
think
bit
it's
too pricey.
The 3 right now is what it is. Yeah, I don't think it's too crazy.
3 and 3S.
So that, and I've been kind of looking at the I think I mentioned last. What's the thing that Leopard uses? That's not a keyboard. You put your hand in it, got a joystick
I don't know
on
what
it,
it's called, but I know what you
we
mean.
talked about last week. Yeah.
Oh, you mean the it's
Yeah.
like a keypad attached to a wrist pad and
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I was looking at getting one of those a few times. I always forget the name.
Azeron, that's right. Azeron. Yeah, I've been thinking about that too. I think that'd be
like
nice.
that for my family because they don't they won't
Listen?
get it right, and then I feel bad.
Oh,
Do I return this or do I just put it in the closet forever?
Well, I mean, this is what happens: is you say, "I want this," and they go, "Do you want to buy it?" And then I'll wrap it. You're like, "Yeah, okay." Then you you buy it for yourself.
You
They
just
wrap
send
it
them a
up.
link. You're like, here's
the
the thing
link,
I
yeah.
want for Christmas. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of anything, honestly. Like I'm
Once
so
you got
hard to
those
shop
socks,
for.
that was it.
Yeah.
Briar's got everything you could ever want.
PlayStation
I'm
Portal.
impulsive, and I just like when I think of something I want, I just get it.
That's the
So
problem
it's
with
like
Tomo.
somebody asked me,
Like,
"What
he
do you
has
want?" I'm
everything
like,
he wants.
I don't know. I just bought it.
Yeah.
Does make it hard to shop for.
Yeah.
Yep, it does.
I have been thinking about new wheels on the Mustang.
Mm. Let us know how they are tomorrow.
Violet Queen says, what direction do you think Bungie should go in for their content in between expansions? It's clear the seasonal model is stale and episodes aren't bringing the kind of change people hope they would. I'm curious on what they could do to recapture players' attention beyond the expansions.
Ooh, it's so hard
That's
because
a tough question.
it's been such a long running game. It's so hard. How can I cheaply and quickly in between the big expensive things get people really excited? I don't know.
Yeah, I
really
think
don't
it's
know.
the gameplay loop stuff. Like you just need a break. Like most games, even when you love them, like you don't play Elden Ring every month. That doesn't make it a not great game.
Speak
And
for
so
yourself, Fran.
I don't think that's what they're up against is solving, just, it's a new mode that really brought everybody back. I just think without reinventing, the gameplay loop itself and having a bunch of new offerings, it's pretty challenging.
Yeah, it's kind of asking like to reinvent the game itself to bring people back, where it's more about, I don't know. I think it's a different question if you're asking like, how do you get lapse players back into the game versus people who already enjoy the game? Like, what is enough to keep them playing versus like, what is enough to make people who already enjoy the game like really enjoy the game? And I don't know the answers
No,
to
you're right.
any of those questions. To be honest.
No, you're right. There's a bunch of different types of players, and you're right.
There are, yeah. So it makes Destiny so hard, honestly.
Yeah.
Basil
Yeah,
says
like
you
you
were
say, Fran, I
abducted
think
by
that-
aliens, and they want to see your most prized possession. What is it? Your most prized possession.
Well,
So you got to be careful about this because if you show them, they might go, "Okay, I'm taking it." So you got to
I
be
take
a little
it,
careful.
Leo.
Oh yeah, wait, I don't want to show my most prized possession.
Hey, maybe he'll grow up really cool. He'll have
joking.
like a cool alien family, and he'll learn all sorts of stuff.
Or maybe they're
I
gonna
His own
honestly
spaceship.
wouldn't want to unleash Leo on an alien race. Maybe he might wipe him out.
He is a fighter.
He might get hold of some of that alien tech and wipe out us.
He probably would. He'd become like some kind of warlord, alien warlord, and come back and go, "I'm
True.
destroying the humans Dad gave me up." Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
this is a very bad decision.
It sounds like a Marvel video, yeah. So we won't do that.
Yeah, you nailed it though. You can't show it to them because they're gonna like take it.
They might take it. They might.
Yeah.
It's got to be something that's cool, but if they go, "Okay, it's mine now," you're like, "Okay, that's fine."
I'm trying to think if I have anything that is like irreplaceable. Like if I would grab something out of a fire, like
Yeah.
assuming my family is safe, like, and I came back in, like, is there anything? And I don't think there's any like, there's no possession that I own that is like,
You just grab that one thing.
yeah.
Really,
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
surprised you don't
know.
have some like collectible where you're like, oh man,
It's
worked
all
so hard to get that."
replaceable. Everything I own is
Yeah,
replaceable.
yeah.
Like I have like some medals like that I won from like
Just trying
high
to
school
think of, like-
sports, but I don't
Yeah,
look at them
that's-
ever.
No, that's sentimental.
I think of some
That's-
like first edition stuff. Like I do have like the Destiny books I worked on and
Yeah,
stuff
that's
like
pretty
that.
good,
But
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
and you probably can't get, maybe you can get some of them still, like some of the volume 1s, 2, and 3. Like it's pretty nice.
I
about it.
don't know. Because even the stuff that I've gotten from companies that like I really appreciate, I'm from like, "Hey, aliens stole my. Can I have it back? They
Yeah.
might give me a new one."
God,
Yeah,
that's
I
a
have
hard
a
question.
couple old, like gaming collectibles that I.
Oh, you
You
know
probably
what?
wanna grab it.
It's my Edge print magazine of Elden Ring because I actually
Oh, that's neat.
I purchased it because it was Elden Ring, and yeah, I have that.
That's kind of
That's
cool.
neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a signed GameCube. I've mentioned this before.
That's
and
cool.
It's got Miyamoto Iwata. And yeah, I really should have that thing in Jay Sniperton, like bulletproof casing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should. It should be
I
behind
don't.
you, right over there,
Yeah.
Yeah,
with the light
That'd be
shining on
perfect.
it.
that would probably be it. But even that, it's like Briar. It's like that's not.
I just thought of something. On
Actually, I
my
have a ring
honeymoon-
from my grandfather. That is. I would.
On
I
my
would want that.
honeymoon, Jan and I went to an art gallery and we bought some art that it was like, it's not a reprint. It's like, this is actual painted.
Yeah.
And I don't think I could replace that. And I really
No.
like it. And it also has a lot of sentimental meaning because we bought it on our honeymoon.
Yeah. So that's a good one.
That's a good
I
one.
think that
There you go.
probably, but don't tell my wife that.
The aliens are stealing it. Yeah.
How are we doing on time? We got time for one more?
Yeah.
Twisted Joystick Podcast says, what do you consider a taco? Is it ingredients or what's in it? No Briar meat either. #, leave Briar alone.
Wait,
Do we
answered
do
this
we
last week,
finally
didn't we?
delve into Mylin's kebab fiasco?
Yeah, we talked about
I
this
can't
last
even remember if I even got anything wrong. It was just different cultures, okay? Don't culturally shame me.
I mean, I still understand it. You don't understand tacos as much down in Australia. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, I think
Okay,
I think it was.
Or
Do
Myelin
you
just
remember?
doesn't.
Do you remember what it was? I don't even remember.
I don't
what
remember
It was.
Okay, what is your kebab?
If you get a kebab, okay, it depends on the
A
context.
doner
Okay,
kebab.
Yeah, if it's 2 a.m. in the morning and you've just finished at the nightclub and you go, do you want to get a kebab? It means it's a doner kebab. It's got the meat that gets shaved off like a
So good.
Yeah.
big stick that's on a rotisserie and lettuce, tomato, whatever sauces you want in a wrap.
Yeah, we have that too.
That's a kebab. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you have like a shish kebab or shish kebab,
Mhm.
right, which is just like meat on a stick right on the barbecue.
Yeah.
But I
What does this
think
have to do with tacos?
well, it's all kind of it's all kind of
It's all
meat
connected.
wrapped in carb. So I
Yes,
think
unconnected.
I had a wrap, okay, and I called it a
think you're right.
burrito, and someone's like,
That's probably
it's
it.
not a
Oh.
burrito because it doesn't have beans in it,
Mm.
or it's not the right
It's
thing
got to be the right flavors. One thing it can't.
encompassing it.
not the
What I
right
would say is, what was the
tortilla.
meat and flavor and stuff inside to start? Do you remember? Like, because if it was Mediterranean flavor, it's like no, it couldn't be. Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but I offended a lot of people.
You did. It was like hour-long discussion about like yeah.
Does a taco have to have like? Can a taco be Mediterranean flavors? Like, can I get
I
a
think
taco
taco can have
shell?
anything.
'Cause
would
I
say-
feel like
it's
the
the shell.
taco shell is what creates the taco, and then the ingredients.
that's like if you go to a fancy taco place, but they serve like
Taco Bell?
inspirations from-
Fusion food.
yeah. But like to me, like that's not a taco. I mean, you can make tacos. Meaning, here's the deal. It's only acceptable if you're at a place that serves tacos, of all the other kinds, properly.
Oh yeah, how far is too far? If I put fish in my tacos, are they still a fish?
No,
Are they
fish
still a
tacos are
taco?
legit.
Fish tacos are a thing.
If my tacos
Legit.
do not have beans, are they still tacos?
Oh yeah, in fact,
of-
traditionally a lot.
Most tacos don't have beans.
No beans.
If my tacos do
So
not
they
have
do.
meat, are they still tacos?
Sure, I mean, I'm not gonna, sideline vegetarians and vegans and stuff. Like you can get a bean taco or like substitute other stuff, or that's like
Well-
asking, is it a hamburger if there's not meat in it? You know what I mean?
What about soft
No, the
tacos?
answer to that is no, because it's literally
mean-
called a hamburger. Like
But
that
they
is
make
the
Yeah,
meat.
but it's
hamburger
not ham.
substitute meat.
It's not ham,
you know?
correct? But like you know what you're talking
not
about
even
when
the
you
same
say
animal.
hamburger.
I mean, I see what you're saying. That they would call it a veggie burger, and that's okay, but you don't call it a hamburger.
I
Yeah, I
think
mean,
the
a veggie
taco is
taco.
defined by the taco shell, just
I-
like a hamburger is defined by the patty of beef.
No, I would actually say, like, if you're just wrapping vegetables in like a small tortilla, Nah, come on.
Then that
fam.
ends up being a wrap, right?
Yeah,
Like
a
a,
little
a wrap.
bean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, nah, that's not much of a taco, is all I would say. So, meaning the taco needs meat. I was just accepting meat substitute, and that's fine.
Does it have to have like a?
He's really interested in this one.
I don't know. Like how far is too far? Like when does it stop being a taco?
I would say, yeah, if you don't have some kind of like meat substitute or just meat in there, but that's too far. Yeah,
Does it
can't
have to
just
have
It's
like
a wrap.
veggies seasoning?
And it's like a veggie wrap.
A veggie wrap?
Yeah. I mean,
Hold on a second. So you're okay. This So tacos are normally hard. Like traditional tacos are normally like hard casings, right?
No.
Open
No.
hard casings.
No.
They're
Really?
usually soft more often than small, soft hand-sized tortilla. Yeah, but you can
Yeah.
get the hard shell as well.
Because I think
They're
here,
small.
if someone says taco, you're more likely to get the hard tacos, and then you have to specify like soft taco
Mhm.
for like a
The hard tacos seem to be more popular, like at cheaper places, or like
Right.
at grocery stores. Like
They're
I don't
all
know.
tacos, to be fair.
They are all tacos.
Like when
But-
you go
but
to a
good
like hole in the
tacos-
wall traditional like
Yeah.
taco place, you'll
It's
usually
soft
find the
taco.
small soft
Yeah.
right.
tacos.
Yeah,
So
you
I
don't
would
see
say
a
like
a real taco.
all tacos are like not wrapped, right? They're open.
No, yeah, they're open.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah,
you
they're
just
open.
kind
They're
of
sort of
fold
like
them in
a
half.
hands. Like it's
They're
basically
folded in half.
If your
Yeah.
hand was a soft tortilla, you just put some meat, some lettuce,
yeah,
cilantro, onion in
Yeah.
there, a little
Yeah.
hot sauce, maybe, and boom,
And you need
done.
to kind of
Cheese.
like lean forward to eat them, otherwise you drip whatever's in them on your shirt.
Yeah, it
You
depends.
know? Like that's how you know you're eating a
Depends.
taco. Like
Yeah. But if you've never had, by the way, like a good like pan fried hard shell taco where they actually like will pan
yeah.
fry like a taco, it's like ridiculously good.
yeah.
A little less but meaning it's not only
Yeah.
just the hard shell, but actually like I think they're pan fried.
More of a fan
Oh
of the
my
chalupa
God.
myself.
Oh, chalupas are good too.
Well, so
mean,
what
here's where
I
it
was
gets
getting at
complicated.
is I think a taco has to be open, like opened, and then as soon as you start wrapping stuff, then you're in like danger territory of becoming something else.
Maybe a burrito or a wrap or something. Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
So
Well,
again,
like-
the taco,
well, wait.
the taco shell is divided. The
It
taco
is
is
the taco.
defined
I
by
would
the
say it's
taco
the
shell.
He nailed
Oh,
it. How you
mm.
wrap it because you have taquito. That is a little
Oh,
tube
shit.
taco.
That
Yeah.
is, yeah.
And that's the point. So what makes taco the taco is the soft
How you wrap it.
shell, right? But
How
that,
you
I
shell it.
believe I believe a chalupa is like a puffy
It's
shell
like a
or something.
thick one, right?
Yeah, like I'm not a chalupa
I
expert.
think that's the difference.
And then you get
Do
into
you
like
know I've guided everyone to the cube rule. This is why the cube rule exists.
Yes.
the
it is.
what?
Yes.
Oh, this is great stream content.
Fran, have you
Fran.
never
Just
heard
next
of
time
this
you're on
cube rule?
stream?
Kubrel?
Cube.
The cube rule.
You
Cube
like a
rule.
cube. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just punch in the
Cube
cube rule,
Okay.
and you'll
I'll look into
see what we're
this.
saying.
Yes,
You'll
do.
look
You
You
into
can
it.
bring it up
It's
on
good
stream.
We should put a
content.
pin in it, but we should see how much does Myelin know about like tostadas, enchiladas, tamales,
Nothing. No,
uh,
I do not understand what you're saying.
Do you know enchiladas?
burrito
right?
mojado?
Those are
Yeah.
enchiladas?
Yeah.
What about a
enchiladas.
wet burrito?
about
Does
it.
that track for you?
A
Now we're
what?
talking.
A
That's my
wet
kind of kink
burrito.
right there.
That sounds like a good. That sounds like a good Friday night.
We'll get you a wet burrito if you come to San Francisco. You'll love it.
God, let me tweet out. I'm going to see Fran's wet burrito. See you on the week.
It's not. Oh man. All right, the cube
Fran's
rule.
gonna
I've
make
got-
me a
we-
wet burrito.
As long as you abide by the cube rule. I don't know what that
Yeah.
means, so
Yep.
we're gonna find out. Glad I stuck around. I learned a lot.
Yeah. All right. I think we should wrap this one up. Fran, you
Good
should definitely
God.
do the
I
cube
wanna-
rule on stream.
I'll- what's gonna happen is Watts or Myelin or someone's gonna jump in and ask me, have I talked about it yet? I'll be
Yeah,
like, oh
good.
crap.
Yep. Time to bring it up.
Just don't do it while I'm
It's
playing
good.
Wukong. It's gonna be
I
a
was gonna
spicy.
do it. What? It's gonna be great. That's the best time to do it.
Yeah. Thank you all for joining us. I think I like this blue sky thing on
Yeah.
for questions. Maybe we'll do
I'll
that.
I'll set up a DCP Blue Sky account. We'll like grow it up and
Yeah.
let you guys know about it. And yeah.
Over that.
Fun. All right. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.